From Power 102 Digital.
It is Tuesday, the 6th of August, 2024. Good morning, Trinidad and Tobago. This is news to 6 a.m. on News Power Digital. We begin with the sad news that former government minister Dr. Emmanuel Hussein has passed away, according to an announcement made by his family. Funeral arrangements are to follow. Dr. Hussein served as a minister of government in the National Alliance for Reconstruction. He was also a member of the House of Representatives during the period 1986 to 1991, the Third Republican Parliament. Condolences to his family, colleagues, and friends. The time has come for more discipline in the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service, according to Minister in the Ministry of National Security with responsibility for the TTPS, Keith Scotland, MPSC. He told the Power Breakfast Show yesterday morning the time may have come for constitutional changes that would target the police service. Minister Scotland said he has been updated on shortages of resources in the police service and has every intention of providing help to deal with these shortfalls. The Public Service Commission has appointed Carlos Coraspi as the Acting Commissioner of Prisons effective July 9th. The TT Prison Service announced yesterday. He has over 35 years extensive experience and service, having given several roles within the administrative, operational, and program branches of the prison service. Crosby says he aims to transform the prison service into a correction system with a stronger focus on public safety and crime prevention through the rehabilitation of offenders. He said his approach would include addressing several long-standing issues, including a lack of vehicles, infrastructure shortcomings, and uniform provisions. Atop Crosby's agenda is the safety and security of prisons officers. President of the Prison Officers Association, Jared Gordon, said Crosby's appointment signal a welcome change in the management approach to the service. On the crime front, several murders are engaging the attention of police. 2 men are dead following a shooting at Samro Village in Arima. The first victim was ID'd as 21-year-old Emerson Boucher, also known as Kyle, of Edma Avenue. The second victim, ID'd as Justin Blood Michael, also of Samro Village, the 27-year-old, was said to be unemployed at the time of his death. And the third man, age 40, of Dabadi, was injured during the shootout and was hospitalized in critical condition. Also, a relative of 31-year-old fabricator who was shot dead when he went to collect money owed to him has advised young people to stay away from guns and violence. Marlon Modest of Tableland and Princeton was murdered on Saturday night in Rio Claro. Also on the crime front, Diego Martinan, who was released from jail in February on a murder charge, was shot by a gunman. Police identified him as Kimani Adams, 34 of Water Wheel, Blue Basin. Police said Adams had been standing in front of his yard at 12:30 a.m. when 2 gunmen opened fire on him. Adams was shot twice in the head and died on the spot. And in Tobago, a Trinidadian woman, Victoria Guerra, was shot and killed on August 5th. Guerra, also known as Dolly Boss, was shot multiple times while landing at Lamy Road, Argyle. She was taken to the Roxborough Hospital for treatment but died of her injuries. Investigations are continuing. 3 wards of the Rainbow Rescue Home for Boys, Sadler Road in Maraval, Aiden Chance, Zion Matthews, and Navindra Mahabir are all missing. They were last seen around 4 p.m. on August 3rd and reported missing to the St. Clair Police around 8:50 p.m. on the same day. Aiden, 13, is of African descent, dark brown in complexion with short hair. He was last seen wearing a green and blue t-shirt and a pair of red shorts. Zion, 14, is of African descent, 5 feet 6 inches tall and dark brown in complexion. He's slim-built, short hair, and was last seen wearing a green t-shirt and blue pants. And Navindra, 15, is of East Indian descent, light brown in complexion. He is a slim-built, short black hair, and was last seen an orange t-shirt with green shorts. Anyone with information on the trio's whereabouts is being asked to contact the St. Clair Police Station at 622-4565 or 800-TIPS, or contact the police at 555-999 or 911, or call any police station. Miss Universe TNT 2024 is Janelle Tong. She will represent TNT at the 73rd Miss Universe pageant in September in Mexico City, where delegates from over 130 countries are expected to participate. Thong's Miss Mova was chosen on Sunday evening at the Queen's Hall in St. Anne's, where 11 contestants made their final struts for the crown. The night's tension became palpable as the top 3 were announced: Miss Mova, Miss Manzanilla, Kimoy Ann Femlin, and Miss Laventil Athalia Samuel. As Miss Mova and Miss Manzanilla awaited the final result that would change their lives, they closed their eyes and held each other's hands. Miss Tongs was announced the winner. She instantly was met with loud cheers and applause from the audience. First runner-up was Miss Manzanilla, and second runner-up Miss Laventil Athalia Samuels. Thorns holds a BSc in biology from UWI St. Augustine campus and currently manages a dental clinic. St. Lucia's Prime Minister Philip J. Pierre plans to honor the historic performance of Julian Alfred in the women's 100 meters at the Paris Olympics with a national holiday. Pierre made the announcement during the Sportsmax interview on Monday. Specific details of the holiday were not yet revealed. And TNT's double Olympic medalist Keyshawn Walcott is ready to begin his quest for the opening round of the men's javelin today, August 6th. It went off at 4:20 a.m. TT time. We don't have his statistics yet. Walker 31 is the fourth of 16 throwers in Group A, and will have 6 attempts at launching the spear over the automatic 84-meter qualifying distance in Paris. There are 16 other contenders in Pool B. Only those who match or surpass the qualifying mark or the best 12 performance progress to the final round. Walcott has thrown over 84 meters twice this season, 84.89 in Finland on June 22nd, and a season best of 85.22 in TNT in June 29th. He'll be hoping to possibly close off his decorated Olympic career with a place in the final and a potential podium spot. He already has a gold and bronze Olympic medals for Trinidad and Tobago. We wish him all the best, and we'll continue to follow his progress at the Paris Olympics. And that is news to 6 a.m. right here on News Power Digital. We'll have major news coming up at 7 a.m. Good morning.
Up to date and credible. Power 102 Digital.
Tuesday, the 6th day of the 8th month, August 2024. Good morning to you. Thank you so much for joining us on the Power Breakfast Show on Power 102 Digital. Beautiful morning already as the sun rose. Of course, on the show this morning, we just heard from Dr. Paul Richards that just cannot pass an Apple store. And of course, we'll have Richard Ragoobarsingh joining us. We got Ruben and Shane in the background. Of course, my name is Steve Card. All right. 25 degrees at Piarco International Airport, 27 at Crown Point in Tobago. The Met Office has not updated their weather forecast for the day, so we'll get back to that. Good morning to you, Paul.
Good morning, Steve. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning, buddy. How you doing?
Happy birthday to Cecilia Salazar.
And Dr. Paul Richards.
Thank you so much.
Birthday boy, Paul Richards, celebrating his birthday with friends and
Independence also to Jamaica.
Happy what?
Independence to Jamaica.
Oh, it is.
Is it today? Is not today?
I'll check it out shortly. But let me get back. Let me get to Keyshawn Walcott. He threw this morning in Group A qualification. He threw a distance of 83.02 meters, short of the qualification standard of 84. Right? So just
is it that he has, let me see. He has 6 chances, so that's one of 6.
Yeah, that's just one of 6.
Yeah. So
but he threw 84, as you said in the newscast, in Finland and so on. So he can do it.
Yeah.
And let's wish him all the best. Just to cross 84 for now. Almost did. He missed it by that much. That much.
I know he can do it. He's been training really hard, so
yeah, he's been training hard, and he's consistent.
Yeah,
with his length.
So he has 2 Olympic medals. So I mean,
yeah, gold and bronze. Yeah,
he has a gold and a bronze. So good for him.
Yeah, so let's wish him all the best, and hopefully we'll get there.
In 1945, also on this wonderful day, this great day in history, the Americans dropped a bomb on Hiroshima, Japan.
Oh, it was in what year?
1945.
Wow.
And in 1963, a bomb was dropped in Agnes and Joseph Richards. It was a small bomb, which grew tremendously over the years.
Mm-hmm.
The tiny bomb, actually.
Mm-hmm.
Very, very small bomb.
Mm-hmm. And not saying anything.
I was tiny. I was premature.
Yes, you did mention that to us one time.
Very, very skinny child for many, many years. That didn't last very long. Bothering you there, Steve?
The lovely Shelly-Ann Charles.
Good morning, Shelly-Ann. So our security, wonderful lady.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Wonderful lady. All right. But let's see who sent us hellos first thing this morning. I get both yesterday that I didn't say hello to people. Anthony Tinto out in Canada. Wendy and James. DJ Ray out in Delaware. Isasha out in London. Garcilia Wayne Bennett out in Covenant, Georgia. Beefy Smith in Goodwood, Tobago. Boy Bedesi out in Davie. Ray out in West Palm Beach, Florida.
To those of you in the US, how you always deal with all that junk mail that's come to your front door?
Let me tell you.
Yeah,
I know what they
the
speak
amount
of.
of junk mail that's come to American families' front doors. It's astounding to me. And paper and just junk mail and junk mail and junk mail.
From the various groceries and pharmacies and who having big sale. Who healing you out there?
Thanks.
We want to see who you're talking to, saying thanks.
Fast. We're talking to us fast.
Yeah, so your point would be?
That's my friend's husband.
Okay.
This you must know.
Morning, friend's husband.
He's gone.
All right, let me continue. Gloria Gray, Susie B, David Wares, and to Mrs. Wares. Wishing you happy birthday, Paul. Marcia Rock. Thank
you all on the chat wishing me happy birthday. I appreciate it.
There you go. Cara Guevara, Susie B, Trini in Boston, D. Pierre, Josie Richardson, Wayne Bennett, Sheldon Roach, Biznath Prasad, Wayne Ramsey, Trinidad Margot, real birthday greetings coming out here, bro. Mo Games, Naruka, John Cato, Marcia Rock, Mrs. R, Carl M. Jack, let's see, Slick Money Grip, John Cato, Boy Badesi, let's see, Paul Prudent, Kadeem Khan Jr., G Light. Good morning to you as well. Oh boy, lots of birthday shows. My mother, this is from Val. Val is saying, my mother is celebrating her 102nd birthday today.
Oh, that's great.
Ethel Swan, you're 102. So happy birthday to you, Ethel. And of course, she's wishing you a happy birthday as well, Paul.
I have to say happy birthday also to Paul Charles, who is exactly the same age as I am, because his mother and my mother were in the same delivery room. And his mother asked my mother, according to legend, what you naming him? And my mother said Paul, and she said, I'll name him Paul too. So good morning to Paul Charles.
Oh, okay, Paul too, Charles. Good morning to you and happy birthday. All right, and of course, Ethel Swan, hope you have a great day. Captain Ron says happy birthday, Sankofa, Danraj, and David Nelson. Wow, okay. Good morning to you, Sankofa. GNC Auto Security. Somebody else is saying happy birthday, Paul. I don't know who it is. You need to put your name so I won't keep clicking all over. Alistair Hart.
How much did Keyshawn throw, Steve? Again, remind me, please.
Through 83.02 M.
All right. Thanks.
Yeah. Somebody, hi, Steve, not hearing Senator Paul well. Yeah, he's a bit low this morning. He doesn't have his usual, that's Dean Allen. He doesn't have his usual high-tech equipment.
I do actually.
You brought it with you?
Come to work, you know.
come to walk. There you go. He's going to sort that out. Ooh, Wayne Ramsey. This is the Paul birthday breakfast show. All right. We do at 8 o'clock this morning. We have. Go ahead, Paul, with that.
Marsha Walker will make her debut in Power Conversations. We had Denise Deming yesterday. And Marsha is starting off with two very huge guests.
Yeah.
Gary Griffith. And then she has Atto Bolden live from Paris.
Aye.
You can tune into Marsha at 8 this morning.
Yeah, just after 8 o'clock.
9 a.m.
Yeah. Atto Bolden, we all know him. He won gold for Trinidad and Tobago.
He won a gold?
Is it not gold or bronze?
I think it's a bronze.
I'm thinking more bronze. Yeah,
I think he has several gold international medals, but I don't think he has an Olympic gold.
Olympic.
David Wares is the history book on that.
Yeah, David Wares. It's really Mrs. Wares, huh? And she's tell David Wares. Yeah. Mrs. Wares is informed. David, make sure and tell them. Right. Yeah. A lot of birthday greetings coming through. So what did you buy in the Apple store? What did you buy? There's no way. I saw your post that you could pass that straight.
I didn't.
And then keep your hands out of your pocket.
Actually, this is, to be honest, I came to update my MacBook. So I did that. So I already bought it. So I just went in because I can't pass an Apple store straight for some reason. Apple is the devil.
Yeah. It's like
Apple
me. I can't pass a Bose store. I'm a Bose lover. I cannot pass a Bose store.
Apple is the devil. I'm convinced.
I'll tell you, one time I went into a Bose store and I told the guy, so these headphones that I'm wearing, the in-ear, I told the guy that, one of the wires have a little burst on it. And he said, what? No. Bring it, man. And then I said, I have my noise cancelling headphones. But when I put it on, it gives me a loud squeal. He said, nah, that can't happen. He said, where your stuff? You have it? I said, well, it's home. He said, bring it. Bring everything. And the next day I went back to the Bose. That was like 5 minutes away. I carried my noise cancelling, my two in-ears. And he changed all free of charge. I said, no, can't have that.
I wish people could really see what Wendell's mind is like. Wendell is so sanitized on this show. You all have no idea how sanitized Wendell is on this show. He's very, very disciplined on this show. Because if you have a taste of Wendell's real mind, you always just like
Wendell, if you want, you could join the show,
If you all know what Wendell's mind is like.
Wendell's mind is completely warped. Completely.
Well, mine is too at some level. So
Wendell is on a different level.
Well, that's debatable.
That is, you should see somebody anyway. Let me not go there.
But he has a great sense of humor, though. Anyway, our condolences to the family, colleagues, and friends of Dr. Emmanuel Hussein, who was just a nice person.
I don't know.
He was a government minister in the NRA administration. He was a member of the House of Representatives from 1986 to 1991. He had a disability and he championed the rights of persons with disabilities all through his career and even after his political career ended. So condolences to his family, and funeral arrangements will follow in the press in due time. So he's made quite a significant contribution. Very humble person, and really every time I spoke to him was very, very nice, very, very laid back, not laid back, but very deliberate, subdued personality. And he certainly has done a lot in his own way for Trinidad and Tobago. So condolences to his family, friends, and colleagues.
Yeah, I don't know him at all.
I'm loath. Okay, let me go through some more good news before I get to the bad news. Let's congratulate Janelle Songs. She will represent Trinidad and Tobago at the 73rd Miss Universe competition in September in Mexico City. She's from MOVA. Very, very good. And she won out of 11 contestants. Atalia Samuel came in third, and Kimoy Fellman came in second, first runner-up. She manages a dental clinic, and she was a BSc in biology. She has several other titles, including Miss Carnival TNT 2013, Miss Beauty TNT 2016, Miss Heritage International 2016. So she clearly likes the beauty business, and now she's going to represent us at Miss Universe. So congratulations to her and all the other contestants, and I'm sure she will do us proud. You see, and I wanted to do this because, I mean, you know, they usually have a stigma related to MOVA, and she's clearly one of the bright stars coming out of MOVA, and there's several thousands and thousands of others who are doing great things coming out of MOVA and Laventil and those areas that are generally, unfortunately, usually stigmatized. So good for her.
You have a pick to put up?
No, I don't have a pick yet, but I'll try to get one later on this morning. Okay. She's a black beauty, you know. 3 boys escaped from a home.
Only week before the weekend.
Aiden Chance, Zion Matthews, and Lavindra Mahabir. One is 13, one is 14, one is 15. You know, these homes. I don't know that they always have the resources to carry out their mandate successfully. You know? And I think that I don't know. Children's authorities to do more work. That's what I would say.
Yeah, because if it's not that home, it's another home.
Making sure that they're up to scratch. That's what I would say. If you have any information on these young men, Aiden Chance, who is 13, of African descent, dark-skinned. Zion is 14 of African descent, and Lavindra is 15 of East Indian descent, brown in complexion. You're asked to contact the St. Clair police station or any police station at 622-4565. Or you can call 800-TIPS anonymously, or 555 or 999 or 911. You know, these are minors. These are all minors, and they are out, and the authorities don't know where they are. But a couple of years ago, some boys escaped from a home, or maybe the custody of the Children's Authority, and they were killed. So please, anyone with information, if you see these young men, I mean, I think their picture, I don't know if the pictures are put up on the newspaper because of their ages.
No, I saw it online.
The pictures are online, okay. I
Yeah.
the emergency situation, but
yeah.
Please call the police, excuse me, and make sure that they are returned to the authorities.
But you know, as you said that, Paul, I didn't have my car yesterday, so I was driven by Shane to and from work. And you know what I noticed? You know that big billboard that they have right by the flyover by Bago and Sings and NP heading eastbound? And the big electronic billboard again by Aranguez. Those are not working. And they should be working.
Are they the state billboards or the Answer McCall billboards?
No, the state billboards. These are the ones that Jack Warner had put up.
Or the electronic billboards, which are very good because they give traffic information, very good traffic information.
Well, it's not working. It's not been working for a while. And I was driving a
chain. You got to report it to me. I'm sure Minister Sinan is passing there.
Yeah.
They're not working.
And it's only when I said, Shane, you know, those billboards not working. He said, you know, I pass here every day and I never noticed that. But a billboard like that, and the amount of commuters that use those routes, they should be able to put up the pictures of these young individuals so people have their faces in their mind if they see them anywhere. I doubt they're going to stay in the Maraval area. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, they escaped there, so.
Yeah, so they'll keep it on a low pro. But they're 13, 14, and 15, so they'll want food. They're hungry. Where they're going, I don't know. But, you know, we keep hearing about children leaving the homes and so on. I don't know.
I'm not sure that all of these homes and many of them have great intentions, but that they have the wherewithal always to fulfill their mandate in a safe manner.
Yeah, I've been trying to call Dr. Benjamin yesterday. He was in charge of the Children's Authority to no avail.
Speaking of which, let me just tell you, there's a convention on the rights of the child at 35 years, the promise kept, the dream deferred. Coming up in Trinidad and Tobago at the Hilton from November 13th to 15th. The conference is organized by my colleague, Independent Senator Hazel Thomas-Nai, who is the president of the ISFL and chairperson of the Child Rights and Restorative Justice Organization. There is a great conference that will host a series of presentations from judges, masters, magistrates, law professors, doctors, social workers, psychologists, educators, administrators, North America, South America, Europe, the Caribbean, Africa, Asia, all over the world. And it's a conference, if you have interest in child rights issues, let's know. It's coming up at the Hilton Trinidad from the 13th to the 15th. If you'd like more information, you could go to the www.crarjo.org or send in an email to, ISFL Regional Conference. That's ISFL Regional Conference 2024 at gmail.com. So that's the conference on the rights of the Convention of the Rights of the Child at the Hilton Trinidad between the 13th and the 15th of November. I'll remind you several times before that time comes.
Good morning. Morning, Rich.
Hi, morning, guys, and happy birthday, Paul.
Thank you, sir. And Cecilia.
Yeah, and to Cecilia, too. Happy birthday to Cecilia.
And Nikki Crosby is coming up. Isn't it?
Yes, it's coming up.
Is
Yeah,
it 9th? I think
around
it is.
this time, too.
She's born the same day as Whitney Houston.
As Whitney
So
Houston.
for some reason, she thinks she's Whitney Houston.
She's been delusional from long.
She thinks she looks like Whitney Houston. She thinks she sounds like Whitney Houston.
Oh my, Richard, behave.
And of course, she also said that the spirit incarnate, because Whitney was Whitney and Bobby, and she's Nikki and Jerry. So she has some delusion going on there.
Yeah, there is some substantial.
But you actors are like that, eh?
I will call her for her birthday. I will tell her about this conversation.
Good morning, Crosby. I don't call her Nikki, I just call her Crosby, and she knows that. All right, yeah. So those are the good stories. Let's get on to the bad stories. There was spate of murders.
Yeah,
I mean,
Tobago.
Spate of murders.
I think Tobago had.
Tobago had one.
Yeah, Lady Boss. Ooh, that was some goal around that lady.
I don't want to be stereotypical, but it's really unfortunate condolences to her family. Let me just say that.
Yeah.
2 men were killed in Arima, Samaru Village. 21-year-old Emerson Boucher, also known as Kyle, and Justin Blood Michael, 27. A third man, 40, of Dabadie, was also injured in the shooting. Then a 31-year-old fabricator, Marlon Modest, of Princeton, was murdered on Saturday in Rio Claro. Then a Diego Martin man who was released from jail in February was shot by gunmen. He's Kimani Adams, 34. And of course, Steve just spoke to Victoria Guerra, better known as Dolly Boss, was shot multiple times while landing at Lamy Road, Argyle, taken to the Roxborough Hospital where she died of her injuries. So they said this, is it August or July, was the highest number of murders in the history of the country for 1 month. Which is not a statistics we celebrate in any way, but it's rather unfortunate. And it's just so many young men that, just it's almost like collateral damage. And that's why I asked MP Minister Scotland yesterday about the white-collar crime situation. And while, as the police are doing as they should, before you all jump out yourself, some of you, and dealing with the blue-collar crime, the equal emphasis needs to be put on the white-collar crime, because those are the ones who are funding the importation of the illegal drugs and guns. The ones who get killed in the street, in most cases, 99% of the cases, they may have the wherewithal or the resources to bring in any container with illegal guns and drugs here. They're just foot soldiers.
Well, I don't know for how long they remain foot soldiers, Paul, because there was an article over the weekend concerning the issue of those bank robberies that you sent to me. that indicated a relatively sophisticated, organized approach to those robberies. It was very intentional and very organized in terms of them gathering intelligence before they committed the robbery on whoever was the unsuspecting victim coming out of whichever bank. So I don't think we should underestimate gangs in thinking that they are just this band of thugs that are disorganized or have no sense of coalescing into becoming more and more sophisticated.
I'm not underestimating how they're evolving, What I'm saying is, and I agree with you, we see this one gun down in the street gang related. Police have an encounter gang related. How many times have you heard this so-called businessman arrested and charged for money laundering or in being involved in importation of illegal guns and drugs? Which is part of the crime cycle. How many times do you hear that?
No, it is part.
Exactly. And that is the problem. And I'm glad you brought up that thing because I forgot to talk about it yesterday with the banks. And I sent it to you all because a couple of months ago, we raised the issue when several elderly people and other were being held up outside ATMs and people following them from banks. And we made a statement. I made a statement in Parliament about it. And the Banking Association was zip quiet. I think the response was customers need to be more vigilant. Yes, customers need to be more vigilant. But their responses, and I'm glad that whoever wrote that article wrote it, because it showed the kind of danger customers of the banking industry are facing in this country. And I think the banking industry needs to do more. Yes, they're moving, people trying to move more to online transactions to avoid people coming out with large sums of money. People should not be moving with large sums of money. I agree with that. But I certainly think the banking institution, the Bankers Association needs to do and say more because they make billions of dollars, not millions, billions of dollars profit every year collectively from their customers. And I think they have a greater responsibility as opposed to just, in addition to moving people to more online banking, because if you have ATMs as a banking institution, it means that customers are going to go to the ATMs. Am I wrong?
Yeah. No, you know.
And if that is the case, maybe you need to hire security outside the ATMs in some cases, in some specific cases, to feel safer, or do something else, or be a little more proactive or a little more visible or audible on the issue of people being robbed coming out of ATMs and leaving banks. I don't think the Banking Association is doing enough or saying enough. I don't think there's a consistent campaign advising customers to be safe and vigilant. When there's an incident, they send out a release, and that seems to be all they want to do.
Yeah. I mean, the whole issue, I know the Prime Minister has been big on Trinidad and Tobago becoming more and more cashless, which helps in terms of those seemingly ad hoc robberies of people who are withdrawing money from banks. But also the banking sector, for how long we heard that you'd be able to deposit a check via your phone. I remember a couple of years ago, they were discussing that and looking at the possibility of that. Why do checks have to take 4 days to clear, even if you're in the same bank? What is that about in 2024? You have all manner of clearing provisions that you could make things a lot more customer-centric than you are doing. But the banking sector is virtually a monopoly. Yeah? It's an organized monopoly in a sense.
And that's fine, and there's nothing wrong with that.
In how they operate.
That's
well, there is something wrong with that because they're not really competing in a way with to get other customers.
Let me ask you something. The telecom industry, although there are several suppliers, you don't think it's that kind of monopoly too?
But they are still competitive because what TSTT used to be before there was Digicel is completely different to what it is now. So you saw the power of transformation because of competition. But the banking sector has been a little lethargic in changing.
I think there's a Central Bank of Trinidad and Tobago and a Ministry of Finance.
Yeah.
Is not the central bank the regulatory body for the banking association, banking industry?
The central bank?
Yeah.
Yes.
Right. And I think the central bank also is to step in and demand that the banking industry does more to, one, can more consistently advise their customers about safety practices. And yes, people have personal responsibility too. I agree with that. But when you're making billions of dollars and there is a trend of people getting robbed coming out of ATMs and being victims of robberies and assault leaving banks, there's a bigger responsibility on you to do more.
Well, there is a responsibility for you to help protect your customers as best as you can, but that's not your remit.
No, it's not. But there's a thing called corporate social responsibility, and because
but corporate social responsibility is different to fighting crime.
I'm not saying they have to fight, but let me ask you something. Do you see consistent messages about safety using ATMs?
You do see them sometimes.
Sometimes. Do you think so? You don't think there's anything more the banking association can do?
I think they can do more, but ultimately it's the police that has to fight crime.
No argument.
They can try and assist as best as they can within their framework of what they can do, and a lot of what they can do is make people's access to money and how they transfer money easier, much easier than it is.
There are several
even
sections of society.
If I'm sending you money, Paul, if I'm sending you money and you're in a different bank from me, and I do it after a certain time, you have to wait one business day for it to come into your account. Or if you do it over the weekend, you have to wait on a Monday. Why can't it be instantaneous, like if I'm sending it to you if you're the same member of the bank?
Or the checks, or the check situation.
Yeah. All of those things, they can, because the issue of money is why people go into ATMs, why people are doing transactions. If I knew I can do a transaction with you to buy X or Y, and I can transfer it digitally and you're getting it immediately, I will less likely want the cash in my hand. But sometimes you have to wait 4 days because you have to issue the check. Or
in other parts of the world, you could take a picture of the check and deposit it.
Yes. They were supposed to bring that system here. I remember them discussing it.
They're just changing one line in a bit of law. You know that?
Yeah. Because you have to go into a bank to deposit a check right now. Well, you have to deposit it via ATM. Unless it's above a certain amount, then you can go into the bank.
And there are some banks that tell you they're not taking the deposit at the counter.
Yeah.
Correct.
Imagine that.
Yeah.
I walk into a bank to deposit a check or make a deposit to somebody who provided a service. Yes, Wendell, your brain gone wild. And I bought something from somebody and went to deposit. They said, we don't take deposits over the counter. We don't take no, we don't. I said, can I do a check? No, we don't do that over the counter either. You have to go to the ATM or go online. What? So you have an outlet for? You open your front door for this morning.
Yeah. Not only that, the lines, if you have to do a transaction at an ATM and it takes some time, there's a huge line behind you.
We should open the phone lines. We neglected to do that.
Yeah. So let's do that. The lines are open. 222-8255. North Americans, 866-525-1099. All right. We got some calls coming in already, so let's grab them. Good morning.
Steve?
Yes.
Good morning, Dr. Paul.
Good morning, Gravity.
It's Body as well from Gravity.
Yes.
And Richard, good morning.
Good morning.
So, last night TV6 showed, I don't know if they called it a special or something, Junior News, Secrets of a Bank Robber. That was so eye-opening for me. So I have to rewind it to watch it again because these fellas, Paul, you said, according to, I agree with Richard, they're very sophisticated. They know the things and they have it down pack. So we who go to the bank, we have to be very, very vigilant. So you have to be looking over your shoulders, in and out of the bank, walking out to the door, going to your car. This is something else because according to what I saw last night, they use more than one vehicle. Eh? And one of the things they said, where the police probably and the licensing office probably should be commended, they use very heavily tinted vehicles. So they are in a vehicle, in the car park, heavily tinted, you can't see nobody, and the engine running, and only when the security pass, they will switch off. I said, that is frightening. Is everything we ought to be afraid of now? So that, I think people should look back at that program last night, Journey News, and get some ideas on how you will have to secure your own self too.
Good job, TV6. Thank you.
Yes, that was well done. Yeah. So, Paul, you have a wonderful day today. And I said my mother, Sunday gone, we had a little life. My mom, she has all her faculties, by the way.
Thank you.
But I wore a short pants. And my mother said, what? You do not hold your legs outside in this day and age, my mother. You know, so she feel like 60 days. So, she has all her faculties and she's in.
He hasn't seen you on the road for Carnival Monday and
God
Tuesday.
for a lady at 102, my goodness. So, you all have a good day.
Same
All right.
Thank you very much.
Good one.
Yes.
Good morning, caller. Oh, boy. Good morning. Good morning. Going once. There we go. Good morning, caller.
Hey, morning.
Morning.
Morning, Mr. Patrick.
Ragoobarsingh, you can.
Yeah,
Wendell,
Mr. Patrick, good morning.
Richard, it is a brother.
So they tell me.
You reached the 3 score yet?
Where's 3 score?
I don't know, 75?
Oh, Lord.
If that's the case, no.
I mean, it reached 60 yet, Paul.
Yes, I have.
Well, happy birthday.
Thank you, sir, very much.
You survived. You survived it. Yesterday you was having a discussion. Yesterday you was having a discussion in Arimadi. Only need a double for the longest while, boy. And them fellas and them talking about when you cross 30, you survival. Because them people now are living up to 25, 30. So they reach 60, it's a praise the Lord, eh? Nice. The program, how she name now talk about on TV, I was watching it. And I keep telling people all the years, you have to look at everybody and everything now as a suspect. You don't know who is who.
But you're right.
Anyway, people walking behind you. Anywhere in the bank, you don't know who is who. So everybody now become a suspect. That's how we have to live in Trinidad now, you know. You know what Mr. Ragoobarsingh?
Yeah, what's that? Sorry?
Everybody now become a suspect. You don't know who is who. Just imagine you pull in your gate and you see a car driving up real slow. Everybody's a suspect.
You have to be vigilant. It's the times we live in. You just have to be vigilant.
Yeah, but that's what we're going on in Trinidad and Tobago.
Unfortunately.
I'm watching the news in Tobago with this young lady, boy. You always go around the next one, boy. You see the news?
That's
Tobago?
a choice. That's a choice. That's a choice.
I have no problem with the choice. But you moving around that kind of way, you know, people will target you, boy.
Well, it didn't end well, unfortunately.
At all. But it's so sad, eh? 19 murders in Tobago already, they say. 19 murders.
Yep.
That's unfortunate.
Highest ever.
Well, boy, only have a good day.
Thanks, Mr. Patrick.
Same to you.
Yeah, buddy.
All righty. Take care. Good morning.
Happy birthday, mi amor. Happy birthday, mi amor. Happy birthday, happy birthday. Happy birthday, mi amor.
Check one of them old people, man, in the back of the church that keeping back the chorus.
Old as your
No
tongue,
kidding. All right.
and a little older than your teeth. Happy birthday, happy birthday, happy birthday, mi amor.
You know, that's why I fell in love with you. Your ability to tremble that throat is astounding. You could well tremble that throat, dude.
And not only the throat, I trimmed a lot of other things.
Thank you, Zena.
Oh, good morning, Steve. Good morning, Richard. Richard, don't you attack me.
I'm
You
still attacking
were
you.
hopeless. You were hopeless with your singing, but you did some training, voice training, and you're much better now.
Mhm.
You understand?
Thank you.
With the help of computer and maybe all the other things. So don't try that on me.
So again later.
Oh Lord.
We don't, you should know me better. We don't talk these things in public.
Okay, all right. I appreciate that.
Right.
I want they kick me, kill me, and the left hand dumpling and some more trembles, please.
Big fanfare.
I want
So
more trembles.
right. The blankets are all fluffy. Everything is ready.
Once you fold that in and blanket up to the side on the bedside table, we're good to go.
I'm going to put the New York blanket. Morning, CJ. morning, Rena. Morning, DL. Lips. Morning, everybody. Later.
Okay.
All right, thank you, Zena. Richard, you have papers?
Yes, I do.
And I need to craft a question quickly. Go ahead, please.
Well, I could start with the newspapers. So I will start with the Daily Express for today. Of course, today is August 6th, 2024, Tuesday, August 6th. The Daily Express for this morning, the headline, Dolly boss shot dead. Suspected 7 gang member is Tobago murder number 19. That's the main picture and the main story on the front page. Other stories, Amazing Alexandre. And this is with regard to Bruno Alexandre. Bruna Alexandre plays against South Korea's Lee Youth and C during a women's team round of 18 table tennis match. Anyway, that's another picture, a smaller picture. Mom full of regret after son dies. I didn't kiss him goodbye. Very sad. And on the back page of the Daily Express, Basaraf challenged. Ghana court rules appointment as VP unlawful, CWI to appeal. And that's cricket business, basically. So that's the front and the back of the Express. I'm moving on to the Guardian today. The Guardian, front page, grieving fathers of friends killed in Sando crash, fix cable barriers. So that was a news item last night that I saw. So this is the Ramnath Ramnanan, father of accident victim Ryan Ramnanan, speaks during an interview with Guardian Media yesterday. And there's a picture of the 2 deceased, Ryan Ramnanan and Sachin Tilakdari. And they interviewed the fathers last night, and they were basically both saying that the barriers should have been put up and they put back the cable barriers.
Mm-hmm.
And that it would have helped. But they talked in the news item last night, they talked about the Minister of Works and Transport saying they're moving away from cable barriers to guardrails or something like that. UNC councillor quits over bad treatment. And woman gunned down in Tobago. All of that is on the front page. Miss Morva takes Miss Universe TNT title. That's also on the front page. She is very pretty. And court rules against Bassarat. That's on the back page. New pole vault record at Olympics. That's also on the back page of the Guardian. Front page of the Newsday. What's the headline? I'm about to tell you. Tobago records 19th murder. Cops say public won't help reduce crime. Police are not magicians. That's the headline on the Newsday. Front page. Region not ready for another pandemic. That's also a headline. And there is a taste test. Gerald Julian of Chagonas enjoys a sample of tamarind sauce at Marie Olivier's homemade sauce during the Prime Minister's Best Village Food and Folk Fair at Skinner's Park in San Fernando on August 4th. That's the main picture on the back page of the Newsday, Guyana court rules Bassarat selection as West Indies cricket VP null and void CWI to appeal. And King named Soca Warriors caretaker coach. And just in case you didn't know which King that was, it's Derek King. I know some people had raised eyebrows considering that choice. I'm not into football that much to have an opinion. But I think Wendell had an opinion. He seemed to have raised eyebrows. I don't know if Steve has an opinion. Good morning, Mrs. R.
All right, so that's the headlines of all our three dailies. Let's get the results of our morning poll, where we asked you yesterday, do you think Trinidad and Tobago is investing enough in sport to excel on the international stage? All right. The results are in. 70%, 70, said no. All right. The 70% said no. All right. Let's get this morning's poll rolling.
So we're talking about the crime related to banking customers and the expose TV6 did. So I'm moving it out of the realm of only the Bankers Association, the banks themselves. And the question we're asking is, do you think enough is being done generally, whether it be the police, the banking association, or personal responsibility to protect banking customers? Yes,
Do you
sir.
think enough is being done to protect banking customers? That is our poll this morning. We discussed it a little bit previously, if you were with us from the start of the show. So do you think enough is being done to protect banking customers? That's our poll this morning. 222-TALK, 222-8255. North Americans, 866-525-1099. People on the web and the app and other streaming platforms, you can send your votes via the messaging portals there. And of course, if you're watching us on M&E TV, YouTube, or listening to us on other smart devices, you can WhatsApp us at 318-1021. Of course, if you're outside of Trinidad, put the 868 before it. 318-1021. Our poll this morning, do you think enough is being done to protect banking customers?
Yep, that's our poll. Just a little side note here, message from Wendell. He says Kishon Walcott makes it into the finals in 11th place. All right, Wendell just sent me that. All right, do you think enough is being done to protect banking customers? Yes or no? All right, Rena Voodoo Jennings says no. Julia S. Batiste says no. Let's see. Geron says no.
Is it that you mean the banking sector, Paul, or just generically? Because it's generic.
Banking customers, the banking sector.
Do you mean, well, that's what I mean. Do you mean the banking sector in particularly?
Yes, the banking
sector. You think
sector.
the banking sector is doing enough to protect its customers?
No, I left it open to even the authorities, the TTPS, as you discussed this morning.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I didn't want to leave the banking sector because of your discussion.
Yeah. Anne-Marie says nope. David Nelson says no. Good morning, caller.
Good morning. No.
All righty. Thank you. Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning, gentlemen. New Jersey, no.
Thank you, Jersey. Look out for Paul. He's somewhere there. Val says
somewhere there.
Somewhere there. Jersey Orlando Richardson, no. Ronald Pierre, no. Slick Money Grip, no. CJ New York, no. Carol Guevara, no. Lester Craigwell, no. All right. Captain Ron, no. Let's see.
Because as you said earlier, Richard, it could also include more sting operations by the TTPS, deeper investigations into whether or not banking employees are complicit. You understand? The question is meant to target everybody who's responsible for keeping people safe who are using banks, including the banks themselves and the banking association as a collective.
All right. Subhash Mangal, no. Anderson Matthews, no. Vianney Warwood, happy birthday, Paul, and no. Andre, no. Carl Jack, no. Junior, no. Finbar Collins, yes.
You know, Finbar says being digital fully eliminates cash. Well, let me tell you something. As digital as the US is, it have cash here, okay?
Yeah.
I don't know that the world has gone totally cashless anywhere.
So
Black Pearl says yes, and happy Earth Strong Day to you, Paul. Right, Finbar Collins. Do you think enough is being done to protect banking customers? Yes or no? Cheryl Henry, no. Hanif Daniel, no. Keith Clark, no. Happy birthday, Pablo. All right, 222-8255, North Americans, toll free, 866-525-1099. Do you think enough is being done to protect banking customers? Yes or no? Right, that's our poll.
Coming up later on this morning at 8 to 9, our new segment, Power Conversations. Today will be hosted by Marsha Walker, and her guests will be live from Paris, Atto Bolden, and also Gary Griffith. That's between 8 and 9 this morning.
Yeah. Rena Boodoo Jennings, yes, I agree with you there. Right, let's see.
You can't say somebody name and yes when we do the poll. And
Kenway
yes
says no. Dre says no. Thank you, Dre. Catherine Henry, no. No, Rena Boodoo Jennings was saying the Republic Bank ATM in Glencoe is a soft target. Ish out in Malik. Morning, Ish. No. All right. Do you think enough is being done to protect banking customers?
Well, I've talked about Republic Bank ATMs for a while now and how archaic they are. I don't know if they have new machines waiting on the port to clear, but they're waiting to clear for a very long time. Because having to look, if you have to deposit in Republic Bank, God forbid if there are no envelopes.
Yeah. And that Republic Bank,
and there are no envelopes. You know, plenty time there are no envelopes.
Yes, and those three of ATMs in Republic Bank by True Value, they're in Quayside San Juan. Oh my God. Is it the machine not working? It have no money. It taking too long to time out. Oh, geez, I need just... David Wares, not at all. All right. Thank you, David.
So do you think enough is being done to protect banking customers? That's our poll. But I know we're going to the 7 o'clock news shortly.
Couple seconds.
As I know how much time you have left, maybe what, 10 seconds, 20 seconds, 30 seconds. Because we're going to the 7 a.m. news.
Yeah, Beauty Culture says no to the poll. All right. Michael Robinson says no. All right. All right. Let's get into our 7 o'clock major news. Of course, AV is in. Wait till you see. Oh, that's a whole bottle of perfume again. Gotta breathe sideways, yes? Let's get into our 7 o'clock major news.
This is your news bulletin from Power 102 Digital.
Former government minister Emmanuel Hussein has passed away. 2 men are dead following a shooting in Arima. Tobago records its 19th murder for the year with the killing of a woman who's alleged to be a gang member. St. Lucia government plans a holiday to celebrate Julian Alfred's historic Olympic achievement, and Google's online search monopoly is illegal, according to U.S. judge. Details in a moment. This is news to 7 o'clock on Power 102 Digital. I'm Avril Cindy Bab. Good morning. Former government minister Dr. Emmanuel Hussein has passed away, according to an announcement from the family. Funeral arrangements are to follow. Dr. Hussein served as a minister of government in the National Alliance for Reconstruction. He was also a member of the House of Representatives during the Third Republican Parliament, 1986 to 1991. The Ministry of Health and Minister of Health, Terence Singh, extended condolences to the family and friends of Dr. Emmanuel Hussein. Dr. Hussein served as Minister of Health during the period 1986 to 1991. The ministry says he will be remembered for his years of service and dedication to country and for championing the cause of people with disabilities, which earned him the Shakonia Medal Gold in 2022. The time has come for more discipline in the police service, according to Minister in the Ministry of National Security with responsibility for the TTPS, Keith Scotland. He told the Power Breakfast Show on Monday morning the time may have come for constitutional changes that would target the police service. Mr. Scotland said that he has been updated on shortages of resources in the police service, and he has every intention of providing help to deal with these shortfalls. He said it is of the utmost importance that the service gets all they need to treat with crime. He also revealed that the commission must play a bigger role in maintaining discipline within the service.
The first answer to that lies in the structure of discipline in the police service. You would know, of course, that there's the internal structure, but you will also know that the powers to discipline also lies with the commission. And that is the makeup of our constitution. We are in the process now of constitutional review, and maybe the time has come for there to be more direct control of discipline internally in the police service and making it more amenable to, 1, early interdiction, 2, quick resolution of the issues that attend to those police officers.
He noted the internal disciplinary process must be revamped so that it could be more effective, adding the answer could lie in constitutional change.
If you have, for example, the internal police disciplinary process, the persons who sit on those tribunals, they are not permanent. So they will sit maybe once a week, twice a week. That does not augur well for the timely disposition of these matters. So it means then, gentlemen, that maybe the time has come for the rethinking of our constitutional arrangements as it relates to these things.
The Public Service Commission has appointed Carlos Carraps as the acting commissioner of prisons effective July 9th. The TNT Prison Service announced yesterday. He has over 35 years of extensive service and experience, having held various roles within the administrative, operational, and program branches of the prison service. Carras said he aimed to transform the prison service into a corrections system with a stronger focus on public safety and crime prevention through the rehabilitation of offenders. On the crime front, 2 men are dead following a shooting at Samaru Village, Arima. The first victim, who was identified as 21-year-old Emerson Bauscher, also known as Kyle of Edma Avenue, Samaru Village, was said to be the owner of a car wash business. The second victim, 27-year-old Justin Blood Michael, also of Samaru Village, was said to be unemployed. A third man, aged 40 of Darby, was injured during the shooting and was hospitalized in critical condition. Meanwhile, Tobago recorded its 19th murder for the year with the killing of a woman who is alleged to be a gang member. According to reports, at around 3 p.m. yesterday, alleged 7 gang member Victoria Guerra, alias Dolly Boss, was shot multiple times in Argyle, Tobago. Guerra was said to be hiding out in the countryside in Tobago with other alleged gang members. Police reports indicate that Guerra was on the street leading to the Argyle waterfall when a car pulled up and a group of men exited and fired several shots at her and a man in her company. Both Guerra and the man were taken to the Roxborough Hospital. However, Guerra, who was under police guard at hospital, died, while the man was grazed by a bullet and escaped death. The gunman also went on to shoot an alleged 6th gang member in Pembroke. Police say the shooting of Dolly Boss may have been a reprisal for the Saturday shooting of 41-year-old Ezra Sylvester. Sylvester, who was shot multiple times in Scarborough, died at the Scarborough General Hospital at around 9:15 p.m. on Saturday. He was said to be a member of the 6th gang. All public hospitals have been mandated by the Health Ministry to ensure they adopt a baby-friendly initiative. One of the policies implemented allows one individual to accompany a pregnant woman during labor and birth. This was revealed by Deborah Lewis, who served as a midwife for many years. Lewis, who was speaking on the Power Breakfast program on Monday, said the woman has been given the opportunity to decide who the individual will be during this period. She said this was not always the approach, but she described it as great progress. 83.02 meters was the distance for Trinidad and Tobago's 2012 Olympic champion Keyshawn Walcott on his second attempt in Group A of the men's javelin qualifying to finish 6th. 84.00 is the automatic qualifying distance. The Togo-born Walcott will now have to wait on the results of Group B, which starts at 5:50 a.m. TNT time, to show if he will progress to Thursday's final as one of the top 12 throwers in the qualifying competition. Later today at 1:35 p.m., Trinidad and Tobago's Dream Richards will run in the semi-final of the men's 400 meters at the Stade de France in Paris, bidding for a place in the finals of the event. All the best to both individuals. You are listening to news on Power 102 Digital to 7 o'clock. St. Lucia Prime Minister Philip J. Pear plans to honor the historic performance of Julian Alfred in the women's 100 meters at the Paris Olympics with a national holiday. Pear made the announcement during a Sportsmax interview on Monday. However, specific details on the holiday was not revealed at that time. And a U.S. judge has ruled Google acted illegally to crush competition and maintain a monopoly on online search and related advertising. The landmark decision on Monday is a major blow to Alphabet, Google's parent company, and could reshape how technology giants do business. Google was sued by the U.S. Department of Justice in 2020 over its control of about 90% of the online search market. Well, finally, here is weather news for the period today till midnight. Trinidad and Tobago, fair to partly cloudy and slightly hazy conditions with a few isolated showers and the medium chance of the isolated thunderstorm. Few partly cloudy periods overnight with isolated showers. Gusty winds and street or flash flooding can occur in the event of heavy showers or thunderstorms. A mild to moderate concentration of Saharan dust is present in the atmosphere, so persons sensitive to these changes in air quality are being advised to take the necessary precautions. You can expect a temperature high of 33 degrees Celsius at Piarco International Airport and 32 degrees Celsius at Crown Point in Tobago. Currently, it is 25 degrees Celsius at Piarco and 27 at Crown Point. Recapping your headlines at 7 o'clock, former government minister Emmanuel Hussain has passed away. 2 men are dead following a shooting in Arima. Tobago records its 19th murder for the year with the killing of a woman who's alleged to be a gang member. St. Lucia government plans a holiday to celebrate Julian Alfred's historic Olympic achievement, and Google's online search monopoly is illegal, according to a U.S. judge. I'm Avril Sindel-Bab. That was News 2, 7 o'clock on Power 102 Digital. Look out for more news in detail at 12 noon and an update at 8 o'clock this morning. For more details, log on to power102fm.com.
Up to date and credible. Power 102 Digital.
All righty. Thank you, Avi. For our major news, you could join her again in less than 1 hour at 8 o'clock for our news brief. Quickly, let's see what's happening on the highways and in the byways. Going to Santa Rosa, a bit heavy by O'Meara Road. Not too bad from Trinity City to UE. And after that, it's not too bad heading straight into Port of Spain. The heavy spot this morning, leaving San Fernando to Claxton Bay, and then Couva towards Chiguaguanas. And then Montrose Main Road is quite heavy. That is sticky spot. But after Chiguaguanas, you're clear to the interchange and into Port of Spain. All right. As Evie said, it's 25 degrees at Piarco, 27 at Crown Point. Let's see if we have any more votes. We do indeed. We did beauty culture. Brent Hackshaw said no. Okay, Ebony. Trini B. Okay. Esther Adams says no. Ray in West Palm Beach, Florida says no. And Anthony Tinto in Canada says happy birthday. I have nothing on WhatsApp. That's it. Oh, Anthony Tinto says no. Okay. Right. Let's get the results. I'm going to try and get somebody right now while you guys come on.
All right. So our poll this morning was, do you think enough is being done to protect banking customers? We had 36 people voting on the poll this morning. Of the 36 people voting in the allotted time, 34 of you said no, you do not think enough is being done to protect banking customers. 2 of you said yes, you think enough is being done. So the nays have it by a huge margin this morning. And of course, you can continue to vote on this poll throughout the day, through our programming, and we'll give you the final results tomorrow morning, which will be Wednesday and midweek, as we head towards the weekend. And of course, theater this weekend, Lotto Madness, which is on at Sapa in San Fernando. Yes, Sapa, our latest play starts in South. Lotto Madness at Sapa, Saturday at 8:30, Sunday at 6:30. Tickets are already out and selling at outlets, Key Squared Fashions in C3 Center, Gulf City, and at Brentwood Mall in Chagonas, as well as Friends of Marabella by the Roundabout. Sapa box office opens tomorrow from 12 noon to 6 p.m. daily. So that's where you can get your tickets. You can also purchase your tickets online. You can check RSRR Productions Theater on social media for more information on how to accomplish that. Tickets are $250 general and $300 reserved. Lotto Madness. Who won the $30 million? That's the lotto that is subject of this play.
Ragoobarsingh, NLCB, and take an opportunity to sponsor you, right?
You approach them, but you know, it's hit and miss with NLCB.
Well, depending on who you know.
Well, I don't know. But yes, we did approach them because it's obvious, because so many of the games,
good marketing.
Yes, so many of the games of NLCB are mentioned in the play.
How do you imagine?
And one of the characters is actually playing the games, you know.
This is like the perfect advertising campaign for them for a couple of weeks.
Yeah. Yeah, so you would think so. So we'll see what they say. We did ask, you know.
Sometimes I don't know. Anyway, I'm going to play something, if I could write. Later on this morning, Arthur Borden will be on with Marsha Walker. But there was this, for a while, a controversy over who actually won the men's 100 meters at the Olympics, right? And Arthur Borden, he's a commentator for NBC, and he did this wonderful breakdown that I think clearly identified why the U.S. athlete won. And I mean, so I really can't wait to hear him with Marsha later on this morning, because this is what he said to NBC.
There is so much going on that might get missed. So now we're going to get a chance to take a much closer look at this 100-meter final. Noah Lyles is rarely out ahead early in the race, but he doesn't need to be. Tonight, he had the worst reaction time in the entire field to the starting gun. That put him behind. In fact, look here. He is dead last at 20 meters. He's dead last at 30. And in fact, he is even in last place at 40 meters. But Noah is a master at staying relaxed for the whole race. What does that look like? Well, it starts with his arms. And as long as his arms are coming up like this, above his shoulders and flowing freely, it keeps his stride open. So now he can go catch those ahead of him. Here's a heat map showing who's running at what speed and at what position in the race. At 60 meters, Noah is at 27 miles per hour. And remember how he was last at 40? Well, guess what? he's going to run the last 60 faster than everybody else. Right here, that green in front of Noah Lyles means he's the only one who's not decelerating, and that's at 80 meters. So you'd think Noah has it in the bag, but there's one last critical step. It's the lean. If you lean too early, you're going to lose momentum, you'll lose. Lean too late, you'll lose as well. It's the torso across the line that gets you the win. And Noah right there gets to the line first. Look up at Kishane Thompson. See that gap between Thompson's chest and the line? That's the difference tonight between gold and silver. In fact, it's the second year in a row that Noah has won a 100-meter title by a better lean. He doesn't get enough credit for how good his leans are.
Isn't that a great analysis?
Yeah, that's interesting, you know, that you wouldn't, you know, the details that they go down to drill down to find when it's so close.
When it's that close, you know?
Yeah.
And I mean, you have to be part of it. That's why Atto is such a good commentator. That video, courtesy NBC, I'm sure we got a copyright strike for it, but I thought it was important to share that.
Yeah.
I called NBC last night, but they didn't answer the phone, so I played it anyway.
Yeah, we tried.
NBC, we tried to call to get, you know, clearance, but we use it for news purposes. So there's an allotment for news purposes, but Atto really broke it down well, and it's astounding how they break down the times, the speed you're running at every different stage of the race, and then at the end. Even if because a lot of the pictures that went around the world showed the Jamaican foot almost across the line compared to Noah Lyles. But at the end of the day, this the rule states it's your torso that has to be across the line to be ahead of the person, especially when it's that close.
Yeah. Interesting stuff.
Athletics thing is something else. And the data I sent you on, and that's it. And we're going to talk about this, how important data is and why sometimes we're behind the curve in Trinidad and Tobago. I sent Richard over the weekend because it came across my feed and I found it so interesting. The Hollywood does tracking of the number of productions for movies, television, live productions, reality shows, etc. How many people are employed year to year, quarter to quarter. And so they can track and how many productions are taking place, how many television shows, how many movies, etc. So they can track the employment and the revenue generated by Hollywood quarter to quarter, year by year, to see how they're doing as an industry. Although it's a billion dollar industry, and in 2024, it's down by how much? 20-something%, Richard?
Yeah, something like that.
Down by that. So that kind of data tells you when is the best time the picture shows. Because clearly, if production is down and you're a newcomer, it's not a good time to pitch your show, because the bigger studios who have the contacts will get in faster, and that's the kind of data sectors and industries need to make decisions about and studios and production houses about how the industry is doing and how to pivot and position yourself as an artist, an actor, a production house, etc. And when you look at the level of data production in the US and in the UK and in Singapore about every particular sector and how it's doing and the contributing factors to why the sector is doing well or not doing well, so decisions can be made, is one of the reasons why we're always behind the curve in Trinidad and Tobago, because our data is so behind. It's for example, I'm going to TAT's website for the last couple of weeks, because TAT is, to their credit, one of the entities in Trinidad and Tobago that it's the entity that regulates the telecom industry, of which media is a part. So we go to TAT's quarterly reports to see how radio, television, press is doing in terms of revenue reported, right? To see how our company is doing quarter to quarter. And this is August, and I have not seen TAT's first quarter postings yet for 2024. And TAT is one of the entities that actually keeps up more than any other. You understand? So if you don't have that kind of data, how can you make decisions about how companies are doing, how well they're doing, how well they're not doing, in a real-time sense, to make decisions that are competitive and viable?
Yeah. If you don't measure,
If you don't measure, you can't improve.
You can't improve.
You know, so
You have to measure.
And as I said, TAP is one of those companies that gives you quarter by quarter updates on how media is doing in Trinidad and Tobago, and across the spectrum, from radio, television, press, internet services, phone services, across the spectrum. So it's a lot of data that they crunch, but they at least keep up quarter by quarter. But for some reason, this time around, they've not posted yet. So I'm hoping that if I go on later on this morning, that the first quarter 2024 is actually there. So anyway, we could open the phone lines. I don't think Steve's gotten his guest.
Yeah, and he said he'd call me back.
And your guest is?
I was trying to get Dr. Hanif Benjamin.
And you know he's Dr. Hanif Benjamin?
Yeah. All right, call lines are open. 222-8255. Toll free North Americans, 866-525-1099. Yeah. All right. So give us a call right now. The lines are open. As I said earlier on, Keyshawn Walcott has made it into the finals. And he placed number 11th, by the way. So at least he's in the finals. We'll take that. Good morning.
Hey, morning.
Morning.
Richard. Morning, gentlemen. Richard.
Morning.
So to jump off of something you said, reference bank transfer. What it is we have with giving someone your actual bank account number. I think nothing could be more a security risk than that, as opposed to the United States where you have things like Zelle and Cash App, where you create a whole account separate from your personal banking account number.
Mm-hmm.
That you can give someone to transfer money that isn't your bank account number. You understand? I think that is more security risk than anything else. The way that we have things in place now, Trinidad and Tobago, that you have to give someone your actual bank account number to do a wire transfer or anything like that. I think we need to do better than that.
I think we can transfer money by PayPal from person to person in Trinidad and Tobago.
Pardon me?
I think we can transfer money. If you have a PayPal account and I have a PayPal account, I can send money to you. But I think we light years off Zelle and Cash App and those things.
Yeah, we don't, like Zelle and
Cash
App and
Venmo.
No, we don't have anything like that.
Infrastructure maybe not in place.
Mm-hmm.
But
the law too. The law needs to change to accommodate
the law. Yes. Yeah.
I don't understand why we can't do it, because to me, these are we're talking about banking safety and financial literacy and safety earlier on, and these are the ways that people can actually avoid having to go to collect money and go to hand money to people when you're doing transactions and be safe in your own house.
And reference that what you said there, Paul, banking safety. The bank seems to use that phrase for all kind of thing where your personal banking is concerned. You have to have 3 PIN number, you have to put all kind of different things, 1 set of 1,000,005 questions when you call the bank to do a business. But the United States have 300 million people, and some of which I'm sure are smarter than Trinidadians, and they have these things in place. It is safe out there to use. Zelle is an internationally recognized platform to transfer money on Cash App, PayPal, all these good stuff. Mm-hmm. But for some reason, to implement it in Trinidad and Tobago, the only excuse we have is banking safety and protecting your stuff.
Well, they're doing the right thing there, but I think there needs to be more.
Yeah, but as
the banks have to be vigilant.
The automated thing that is call your number, just make an announcement, make a 5-minute announcement on that place, like what they do at the airport. All baggages left unchecked will be seized. And just make a thing, pay attention to your personal. So a simple thing like that to support what you're saying, Paul, is nothing major you need to do, but remind customers with through audio play recording that, hey, when you leave in the bank, pay attention to your surroundings, have someone escort you, wherever the case may be. It has simple things, non-expensive.
Especially when somebody sit down here. When they put the money in the machine, it's plenty money.
And he Superintendent Alexander speak about that. Used to speak about that regularly.
People monitor that when they hear, go again, my tongue as fast as yours.
Yes, Superintendent Alexander spoke about that regularly.
Do it again, my sister, we here.
Huh?
Do it again. and that woman leave you?
Have a good day, Paul. Have a good day, Paul.
All righty. Thank you. Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning, Steve. I'm laughing. Oh, my goodness. So...
You laugh at that one, eh? You understand it fully, eh? Mm-hmm. You understand that one,
Anyway,
but sure, that one hit the
of
spot.
course.
Mm-hmm. Nemesis, you have a client.
And here where?
You hear the bacchanal laugh?
That's a bacchanal laugh.
Anyway, so you know what amazed me? The police always knows, well, when somebody is dead, it's always a gang member from 6, a gang member from 7, or whatever number. So what it is that I know they keep saying you have to have evidence, but have they ever brought in these people for questioning and all of that? Because if this lady, you just say they know her as the boss, whatever, what is it? What's the boss name? The woman who got killed in Tobago? She is a member of the 7.
Yeah,
So the police know that all the time? No, but that's what the newspapers have.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, I saw it. That's why I can say, so I don't know nothing else.
If the police were aware of this, is it that they didn't have evidence, or that was intelligence that she was allegedly a member of the 7?
But that is what the papers, I go in what the papers said, because they say 7. I say, but then the police, it had to be police giving them that information, because how they could write something like that, because she was a leader of something, you know. Yes, you wrong her neck. Oh, when you wrong your neck, what has happened? What is this?
Right? The newspaper has suspected 7 gang member is Tobago murder number 19. Dolly Boss.
Yeah, that's it. That's why I saw suspected gang member. Why should they write that if they didn't have some information about that? You know? So that is my thing, and look at how this woman got killed. Well, anyway, so I was going to laugh. I was going to say something when Nemesis was speaking, you know.
Should we send Nemesis' number to you?
No, thanks.
You sure?
No. You know,
Ring once.
An economist.
Ring twice.
No. I don't want the number.
Good. You're making bacchanal this morning, Paul Richards.
Because when she and Nemesis rolled that tongue, she started to laugh.
I could laugh, you know. I could laugh. There's an economist, a lady, she spoke yesterday. She spoke the day before, and she was saying how much billions were being lost in Trinidad and Tobago. And then she said Dr. Rowley answered her. Well, we saw Dr. Rowley saying certain things in some what they have, the PNM thing they have. And she was saying all kind of news about what Dr. Rowley is, which you always hear before, right? I know he wasn't this and that and the other, because he used a term with the animal, right? But isn't that not the first time Dr. Rowley used that term? When people not talking things according to him, truthful things or stupidness? So this economist lady was so upset that he had to say things like that, and she gave him a lot of descriptives. And you know, I was happy in a way that it was not highlighted so much on radio or on the newspapers. So I say it's a good thing. Because like people didn't have time with that. They had time with the Olympics. And my final point, Steve, this is the best Olympics coverage I've witnessed and seen for a long, long time. These Sportsmax people are doing a very good job. And I like how they have the intermissions with the different young people. So I would like to see when young people involved in a lot of things. When these young athletes, former athletes, giving their opinions, giving their analysis, and it's so well received that I could look at these things and rewind it and look at it again compared to years gone by. So when I heard TTT was bringing Olympics, I cringed because I say, oh my gosh, because NBC already shut down and the Olympics won't go good. not knowing that they are taking a seat from Sportsmax. So Sportsmax, well done. I can't say TTT because they are just taking the feed from them. So I'm enjoying my Olympics and will be enjoying it until the closing ceremony Sunday. So it's something to look forward to. So you all have a wonderful day. Before I go, and you all had a guest supposed to be here today? Ms. Shaffer?
No.
Yeah, I tried it yesterday, but clearly I had the wrong number. I didn't get it right.
Oh, okay then. Well, I thought so. All right then. So have a wonderful day, everybody. Bye.
All righty. Take care.
Good morning to the Chaguaramas Developmental Authority. Apparently, from the reports we're getting on our chat, there is a huge pond of stagnant water. And if it's stagnant water, it's breeding mosquitoes, which means it's putting people's lives at risk, because it means that the Aedes aegypti mosquito could be in there and biting up little children when they go to the beach. So, CDA is a state entity, not so?
Yeah.
So, you all need to talk to all your colleagues in the state. The Minister of Health, the Minister of whoever else need to get into CDA. And what CDA falls under, I think, planning, maybe, does it?
If I had to guess, I would say there, yes.
Yeah, I think CDA falls under planning.
I had to guess.
So, or you talk to each other when you see each other now and clean up the pond of stagnant water in Chaguaramas. Because the Minister of Health is on record all over the media talking about people taking personal responsibility for their homes and the premises and the yards, and make sure nothing here have stagnant water. And the CDA apparently have stagnant water in Chaguaramas. Okay.
Hello.
Morning.
Good morning, guys.
Good morning.
Happy birthday, Paul.
Thank you, my dear.
Hope you enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you.
Well, down here by me, there are 2 houses abandoned and bushes overgrown. I don't know what, I come like Miss Sampson now. I don't know what living in that house. I don't know. I mean, people pay so cheap for the house down in Diamond Vale that you could just leave your house. Let me tell you, it's about 7 abandoned houses on my street. And they're not selling, they're not renting. But the bush, and what you said, Paul?
Again, like Santa Rosa?
Yes, my sister said the same thing. She said, Phil is only down there, and you know what she told me? She said, you know what is causing that? Parents will die, children living abroad, and like their business to come and do something. Man, there's a young man on my street, good Lord, he was so good. That man came down from where he was living in the States, renovated his parents' house, and renting it. Man, 1 upstairs apartment, 2 downstairs. I say, yes. Oh, your parents will leave something for you. And people, they say, African people don't leave nothing for the children. But when you leave it, what does happen? You just have house lock up. Boy, and mosquito eating way down here. When I tell you eating, and the authorities, they should be able to get in touch with the owner. And in Canada, and that ain't happening. My uncle used to say, if you mow your lawn for a month, they come in because they have this homeowners thing. How the hell somebody...
There are states that seize the property if it is not unkempt, if you get certain number of warnings in.
Yeah. I can't tell you, bush growing, look, I am so fed up, as it was. I listened to the news with these 3 children, these 3 young children, these 3 boys missing. And my mind went back to the Sadbuzz report. And the home in Belmont, remember when 3 boys, was it there they ran away from? And they got killed? And nobody was listening to them when they were telling them what the security there was doing to them, pimping them out. I listened to that interview with that one of the little boys. My God, when this thing will stop? And you know what was sad? From what I read on the papers, I read the security was fired and he was able to get a job in St. Anne's. And I say, what? Yes. Well, right now I think he was arrested and, that case when it go have a call. But these children, it is sad that a child is taken away from their home because of abuse and going home and getting more abuse. No. something needs to be done. And Richard, you didn't answer me. I want to find out if the court ordered me compensation and the person did not pay it, what action could I take? What? Because the court, you can't disobey a court order. I don't know this.
Yeah, you could take out a judgment summons and for the court to activate enforcement of the judgment. But the state is quite capable. The state has a battery of attorneys.
Mm-hmm.
So the state attorneys are quite aware of how to enforce judgment.
Exactly. This is crazy. I mean, Gladiator was good. He didn't know how to collect his compensation. Okay, you all have a blessed day. I hope you find these three balls. Lord.
Thank you.
That's a different kettle of fish.
Yeah, we ain't going there. Good morning.
Yes, good morning,
Good morning.
Special request to the birthday boy.
Thank you, sir.
It is rather refreshing to have had Mr. the Watchman being here to give us some good light on that whole scenario. It was rather refreshing to hear him talk all the real things instead of all that jargon we used to be hearing all the time with him. And like he said, he don't understand why it was allowed to happen. That this gentleman was given this time to spew all that kind of nonsense on people. And gentlemen, I want to find out something. Who is advising the state? These lot of things the state said if you paying money, losing this case in the court, some 3 Venezuelan children. Why? Who is advising the state with these legal issues? That we study have to be paying people these kind of monies. Well, anybody know who are the advisors?
Well, there is the law, and the law is very clear on detention of children, and that's where and that ultimately is where that judgment lies. And when that law, when that Children's Act was made law with regard to detention of children and the kind of the places of detention and what is required in those places of detention, some institutions feel, especially when it comes to migrants, feel that okay, sometimes agencies don't see them as less. That's how I should put it. They see them as less and feel you can treat people in a particular way. But so what
which I think is more than that. I think the problem in Trinidad and Tobago is that we don't have a clearly enough defined immigrant/migrant policy. So they refuse to call them refugees, and it ends up in this lacuna where it goes to court all the time, and very often the matters end up in favor of the migrants, and people are upset. But as you said, there is law, and if you don't have a clear migration policy documented, codified in law, you're going to end up in these problems all the time.
But this one was particularly the children.
Thank you, caller.
Speaking of which, one of the callers called again. Steve, can you try to get, I hope tomorrow, Brian Manning want to talk about the status of property tax? Because people keep asking me and I don't know.
Well, the notices that are going out are payable by September 1st.
Even if you didn't get an assessment?
Well, I assume you will get it before September 1st.
That's a big assumption because there's several people who haven't gotten anything and they don't know what to do.
Yeah, but I think that's what the notices say. The notices say to pay by September 1st. And if you don't pay by September 1st, there's certain penalties that start to arise.
So yeah.
Good morning, gentlemen.
Morning.
I was on September.
Paul, I just called to wish you a happy birthday. It's me just now there. I would hope you enjoy your day and
thank you very much.
2% of work while and enjoy your day. Along with finding the children, I hope they do a proper investigation as to why they run away, because it could be a similar situation repeating itself again, right? to answer the fellow question that called just now, we were ambushed by situations that decisions were made that weren't legal. Nobody advised anybody of anything, right? We had a sudden immigration problem that we had to detain certain people. Somebody make a decision here. We'll put them in what they call it down Sharamas down there. We configured that to be a cell and put them there, and we didn't take into consideration. Who I blame? You could probably blame the Attorney General or whoever else for these mistakes, because they are learned and supposed to be in the know. But if you don't have, we are a young country. We only.
Nemesis, let me tell you. While I understand what you're saying, these are not unique situations to Trinidad and Tobago. Migration is a big issue all over the world. Algeria, all over the world, and given the political turmoil in many countries, this situation events when they're happening overnight is over 10 years it's happening now. So people fleeing countries because of political turmoil, economic collapse, political persecution, etc., is not a unique or new phenomenon.
So the old jargon applies.
So the issue related to how you deal with illegal migrants, because if you come into a country without permission, you are illegal. But under the circumstances of fleeing because of economic collapse or political persecution is a nuance that has to be addressed by law or policy.
Yeah.
You understand? Right. That is anybody saying that they're not illegal.
We didn't think that we had to make these accommodations, right?
But how though? How?
And we make provisions as we go ahead and you know.
And that's why it's ending up into confusion in court, because it's not clearly defined or codified as whether you are fleeing for political persecution or economic collapse because you can't survive. You have a year to their credit. The state has put out 2 or 3 options for registration, if I'm not mistaken. They've updated that recently to say the registration of the first 2 instances are now extended. You can get, the children can get education, you can get basic health care. Those are things that are documented. But the general status moving forward needs to be, to me, addressed in policy and or law. Otherwise, you're going to keep having these issues over and over. Richard, you said September 30th.
Thank you, caller.
Property tax is September 30th.
Yeah, September 30th. Good morning, caller.
September 30th.
Yeah, good morning again.
Good morning.
I could remember a Dr. Emmanuel Hussein. I met him already. We had some nice discussion and thing. And he said something I lived to see. He said they will never fix the public health system in Trinidad and Tobago. He told me that. I said, why? He said, because of the influx of private hospitals and insurance. And I live to see that, you know. You know, I live to see that. The doctors working in the public hospital, working in the private too, if they fix the public hospital, top up. Then you want to work across, and I live to see that. No,
well, it is, the shortcomings are being allowed to continue.
Huh?
I don't think it's impossible for them to work to exist side by side if you have the right management and regulation of the public healthcare sector.
But apparently you don't have that.
Apparently it's incapable of doing that.
I listened to the news last night where Ministry of Education said in the new school term, they'll be short about 100 teachers on some interview going on and somebody leaked the paper. What do you think about that?
Well, I saw the article from the president of Tutor who indicated there's going to be a shortfall of teachers. I haven't seen the Ministry of Education respond yet, so that's only one side of the story.
No, well, Ministry of Education made the statement, and then Tutor responded. Oh, went on.
Oh, well, I didn't read it. Okay.
Some leak in the interview of the teachers and them.
A leak in the interview?
Yeah, I was just browse through something like that.
I said, but one leak in the interview, or a leak or whatever.
Yeah. All right, thank you.
Right.
Good morning. Hello.
Hello, good morning, gentlemen.
Morning.
Good morning.
The immigration issue is really a challenge that we have to confront. But I am not particularly disturbed by the judgment which the court ordered. I think in terms of the overall process, that amount of money might sound a lot, but in terms of managing it, is not unreasonable. I was viewing that in the context of the news coming out of England, where you have violent protests by citizens attacking hotels which have been used to house immigrants. Is really a problem, and while we could do better, I am not one to condemn our situation in too aggressive a manner.
I think we've done well. I think there is a limit to the number of migrants under any circumstances that any country can accommodate. Let's start with that. Because when you start talking about migration policy and law, people automatically feel that you think that any amount should come in the country. Trinidad and Tobago has finite resources. Trinidad and Tobago has 1.4 million citizens that it needs to take care of at an adequate level. And there is a limit to how many migrants one can take. But if you don't situate that in the context that there's going to be migration and illegal migration, not only from Venezuela, but from other countries, and have a clear understanding of how you're going to deal with it legally and policy-wise, you're going to end up in problems, because at the end of the day, is it 8 miles from Venezuela we are?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
but I hear you. But my thing is, and I think the last caller suggested that this type of migration is not a common thing in our circumstance in terms of the amount, and therefore our policies would be evolving. A decision to put somebody in Chagaramas more likely than not would be made by a public servant in the immigration department. But the government would have to stand the bounds, and then we would reform the decision and move forward. But all in all, I think we're doing reasonably well.
All right.
I think we're doing okay. I think we can still do better. The deadline for property tax is September 30th, not September 1st.
Yeah.
Okay. But it will be great to have Baron Manning on to get more clarity on where we are now and how it is proceeding.
September 1st.
Yeah. Good morning.
Yes, gentlemen. Morning.
Morning.
Good morning.
Oh gosh, I forget. I'm only going with the talk. I forget what I call it.
You got to take ginkgo.
Oh my goodness. Oh Lord, I don't call back. I forget what I call it.
There's a moment there.
It's called Richarditis.
It could be a migration issue. Maybe you were going to talk about.
Good morning.
What the banking issue?
Good morning again, gentlemen.
Good morning, my dear.
That issue with the migrants. You see, I don't have a problem with if the state got it wrong and they didn't put proper things in place. Well, I don't expect you putting them in the Hilton Hotel, but if they know that children weren't supposed to be among the adults and all that, they whoever putting them there and organizing that's supposed to be aware of such issues. But my issue is with the quantum of the payment for the children. I say, but what the hell is taking place in this country? I work for how many, 33 and 30 years. I never see that kind of money as gratuity, and my pension still stuck one way. And you tell me you store away here. They send all the back home, or they come back a second time illegally. And because that thing, you want to tell me that kind of money I hear they pay out there? How much, 1 point, how much million among 3 children, and it going into a fund, and so it go gather interest for when they're 18. So what it is? I never hear people stowing away and becoming millionaires.
And Zena,
the quantum is madness.
You hearing me? Yes. In the absence of a documented approach by the authorities, a public servant is going to make some stupid decision, because it's not going to stop, they're going to have other. Well, so you ain't think that somebody here, well, me and my children went to Trinidad illegally. They house the children in an inappropriate place, and they get 1 point something billion. You think others ain't going to try the same thing?
So I am
in the absence of a documented children are here illegally. You have a particular process for that documented for public servants.
And I am sick.
Stupid decisions.
And that's why I'm saying it, that the authorities have to be very careful and put things in place, because the activists told us, the Venezuelan activists, that what's happening in Venezuela with the election, more are going to come. They will come in droves. So in other words, all you're telling the government what's going to happen. And you know what? I find the government made a big mistake with what they did the last time. Because when they came, a lot of them came here and ended up in the bush. So all they would have stayed in the bush, children with their parents, and that would have been okay. But as they hold all and escort all here and put all down in a place, and children among there is a big issue, and only get money. Well, you know what? The Coast Guard better be prepared, because I was escorting Ole back on the sea. I wasn't even bringing Ole ashore to process.
But Zina, when they were escorted by the Coast Guard back to Venezuela, they're back here the next day comfortable.
Well, and what caused it? Something had to be wrong. And when you shoot at them, child dead, and big money had to pay out and Coast Guard charge.
I don't advocate shooting at anyone.
Yeah.
Zina,
the reality of being close and sharing a border that's very close with a huge country that's in crisis.
Mm-hmm.
And so we have to have an intelligent way of how we deal with the issue. The issue of migration into Trinidad and Tobago is not new.
But it's not new, but Richard, they have close to 30 million people. We have 1.4. They will sink here.
They're not, I don't think they're rushing to come here, you know. I think they're going to Colombia, Chile,
they're going all across
Trinidad and Tobago.
Not only Trinidad.
There are many land borders. Trinidad is just one of the options for those that are closer to this side.
Yeah. Cuba, Puerto Rico, Dominica.
And a lot of them use Trinidad as a transient point to get elsewhere.
Yeah, they do.
All right, gentlemen.
All righty.
I say my piece. I hope the authorities listening. Do something proper here. Don't be paying out our money here widely all over the place.
All right. Thanks, Zina.
Thank you.
All right. Good morning.
Yes, gentlemen. I remember.
You took your ginkgo.
This thing where I heard an excerpt where the Indian company was uncertain of the future and was very disappointed in the behavior of the opposition, and they are no longer going to bid for the refinery. Anybody heard anything about that?
Yes, I saw the Prime Minister read out an excerpt of the Mr. Wendell over the weekend.
Because I mean that, and based on what they described in the what they wrote into the letter, it was very annoying to understand the effects it seemed to have on people that intend to invest in the country based on the behavior of the opposition. I would really like to hear some kind of comments on higher authorities and that, but apparently it's still very quiet, and I haven't heard anything. I'd like to know what is the position of that now in respect to other people who are looking at investments in the country. I'd really like to hear what takes place with that. Thank you, folks.
All right, thank you. Of course, on the program tomorrow, we have Minister Brian Manning. We'll talk about property tax.
You get on bad day, boy.
Yeah, so Brian Manning will be on the program 5 tomorrow. And we already have our guest for Thursday. Of course, coming up at 8 o'clock.
You're afraid to see the guest for Thursday, boy.
And we'll see that tomorrow.
Like you're afraid to see the guest for Thursday.
No, I can say it. My partner across in NYC walking. He not working, he walking.
That chat gonna be hot Thursday.
Oh yeah. Saving that for tomorrow. Of course, coming up 8 o'clock this morning, Paul.
Marsha Walker, her guests will be Gary Griffith, political leader of the National Transformation Alliance, and Atto Bolden, NBC sport commentator live from the Paris Olympics. That's just after the 8 a.m. news with Avril St. Hill Bab. Good morning, Mrs. Bab. I'm sure you miss me.
Actually, she was having a party in Berlin, woo yesterday.
She does though. She misses me though. She does.
I plead the fifth. I plead the fifth. Not saying a word. All right. So we'll talk property tax tomorrow with Mr. Minister Brian Manning. All right.
Yeah, just reminding you, of course, the theaters on this weekend, Saturday and Sunday. Lotto Madness is on at Sapper. Coming from Love is a Walk, we now move on to Lotto Madness, and we launch at Sapper this weekend, Saturday at 8:30, Sunday at 6:30. So Southerners, you're getting to see it first.
And it's not brought to you by NLCB.
Yet.
Not brought to you by NLCB yet.
Lotto Madness, and of course, tickets available at K Squared Fashions, Gulf City, C3 Center, and Beckwood Mall in Chaguanas, as well as Friends of Marabella by the Roundabout. The Sapper box office opens tomorrow from 12 noon to 6 p.m. daily. You can also get tickets online.
You still have 3 days. You have 3 days in NLCB. Come on, NLCB Communication Department, Marketing Department. Come on, you're missing a great opportunity here. The play is called Lotto Madness. You can't get better than that. I mean, it's written as a 90-minute commercial for you. What do you want?
6.3 million tomorrow.
Oh, yes, so.
And in the play, it's a $30 billion lotto prize.
Can you imagine if Lotto ever hits 30 million?
Million that somebody has won or has
change your life forever.
It will. So congratulations once again to Keyshawn Walcott, who I think they said he qualified now, right?
Yeah.
He moves into the final. He placed 11th. I don't know when the final will take place though.
So that's good news. That's great news, actually.
Happy birthday again, Paul. Enjoy whatever you do, whatever you do to celebrate your birthday today.
Stay away from the Apple Store.
What's that?
Congratulations to what's her name? Is it Janelle Thong? Miss
Thongs. Yes.
Yeah.
The winner of Miss Universe TNT.
Newly crowned Janelle Thongs, who is the newly crowned Miss TNT Universe. Congratulations to her. She'll be representing us in Mexico coming up later in the year.
September.
And congratulations to Keyshawn Walcott, who is going to bring home another medal from the Olympics for us in the
That's staying positive. Well done, Paul.
Enjoy the rest of your birthday, Paul.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Good morning.
Happy birthday to that massive steak you're going to have later.
And thank you all for your greetings.
Yeah. And say good morning to your and say good morning to your guest next to you that has been keeping you company.
What guest?
I don't know, but yes, you need talking to somebody.
You need talking on the side.
your mouth moving a mile a minute. Oh, is it your phone?
Oh, your phone.
Okay.
In some calls I have to answer. Matters of state.
But yet, the only way Zena can reach you is via the radio.
Matters of state that have to be attended to. That have to be attended to.
Not saying a word.
You all have a great day. Thank you all for the greetings and have a wonderful day. Be safe.
Have a good one, Paul. Take a picture of that steak.
Happy birthday, Cecilia Salazar. Have a good one.
All right, let's get into our 8 o'clock news brief. The ever so lovely Paul says that you miss him, Evie.
I do. I miss him terribly.
Your nose growing.
I do. I really do.
Look, your nose growing. Careful, it might hit. Oh, stop it.
I really do.
It's growing.
I do, Paul.
It is. Look, your nose coming to hit me.
Wow.
Okay, that's enough.
This is your news bulletin from Power 102 Digital.
This is your news update to 8 o'clock. I'm Avril St. Bab. Good morning. 2 men are dead following a shooting at Samaru Village, Arima. The first victim, who was identified as 21-year-old Emerson Bausha, also known as Kyle of Edma Avenue, Samaru Village, was said to be the owner of a car wash business. The second victim, 27-year-old Justin Blood Michael, also of Samaru Village, was said to be unemployed. A third man, aged 40 of Darby, was injured during the shooting and was hospitalized in a critical condition. Tobago recorded its 19th murder for the year with the killing of a woman who was alleged to be a gang member. According to reports, at around 3 p.m. yesterday, alleged 7 gang member Victoria Guerra, alias Dolly Boss, was shot multiple times in Argyle, Tobago. Guerra was said to be hiding out in the countryside in Tobago with other alleged gang members. Police reports indicate that Guerra was on the street leading to the Argyle waterfall when a car pulled up and a group of men exited and fired several shots at her and a man in a company. None of the 3 wards of the Rainbow Rescue Home for Boys, Saddle Road, Maraval, who were reported missing have been located by police authorities. Aiden Chance, Zion Matthews, and Navindra Mahavia were last seen around 4 p.m. on August 3rd and reported missing to the Sinclair Police Station around 8:50 p.m. on the same day. And Miss Universe Trinidad and Tobago 2024 is Janelle Tongs. She will represent TNT at the 73rd Miss Universe competition in September in Mexico City, where delegates from over 130 other countries are expected to participate. Tongs, Miss Mova, was chosen on Sunday evening at the Queen's Hall St. Anne's, where 11 contestants made their final struts for the crown. Tongs is the former Supernatural TNT, holds a holds a bachelor's in biology from the University of the West Indies and currently manages a dental clinic. Tongs also nabbed 8 other titles, including Miss Carnival TNT 2013, Miss Beauty TNT 2016, and Miss Heritage International 2016. Congratulations going on to her. Well, that was your update to 8 o'clock. Look out for news in full at 12 noon.
Power 102 Digital.
All righty. It is 2.5 minutes after the hour of 8 o'clock, 29 degrees at Crown Point in Tobago, 28 at Piarco International Airport. All right. So let us welcome on Power Conversations, Ms. Walker. Good morning to you, Marsha. And of course,
hello.
One the only Gary. Gary, you have to shift your camera up.
Yeah, trying.
Yeah, okay. You have a problem with things. Anyway.
Okay, I got it.
And not even, you're chopping off the top of your head. You're looking, all of you see is your forehead. What's going on with you? Adjust.
Step back, Gary. We want to see all of you. I'm trying.
No, we don't want to see all of you.
I know, definitely not on the Balize breakfast show.
Yeah, but you see, when you the further you go,
Hey. This is not the Balize breakfast show. Oh, yeah, sorry, that was Wendell.
Behave yourself there, Mr. Griffith. You have to come forward because we're really not going to hear you clearly. So if you can do some adjustment, you got to.
But Steve, you should really tell me, please explain why I've been blacklisted on the Balize breakfast show. Is it because
my goodness, you're not blacklisted? You think you're blacklisted, but you're not blacklisted. We have other guests to talk to.
Yeah, who? Watchman, a man who left the police service as a corporal who knows nothing about law enforcement.
Well, that is his prerogative.
Well, has never said one thing.
We'll hear from him, and then people will decide. That's all. There are other guests to bring on.
Gavin Hero, a man who was in Coast Guard for 20 years behind a desk. That's your security expert.
Call it the Gary Griffith.
Never said one negative thing against the government. Gary Griffith.
Come closer to the microphone so we can hear you clearly.
That is why it is now known as the Balize breakfast show.
Well, you call it that, and you're the only one that calling it that.
That's what you feel. That's why the only people who listen to your show now between 6 and 8 are rabid PNM supporters.
Can we move on to the host of the program, Marsha Walcott?
I've lost control.
Marsha, good morning to you. It's all you.
Good morning to the non-Balize breakfast show. That is after 8 a.m. Oh my goodness, what did I get myself into?
You have no idea what you got yourself into.
I know, that's why I was blacklisted, Steve, because all right,
of your... let's move on to Marsha here. This is Power Talks with Marsha. So go ahead, Marsha.
Yes, this is Power Conversations with Marsha Walker. Only Marsha. And I mean, technically, people will say, she's UNC this, UNC that. So, I mean, you should be happy. Yeah, no, but I just find that sometimes it is so unfortunate when certain radio stations become so politicized. You have a senator who said, I'm not going to actually ever be on air with Gary Griffith is there. And you have another one who said, I have until I'm dead. Listen, I have Arthur Bolden coming here at 8:30 a.m. So let us get this show going. Sure. But that was important to note. It was just important to let the country be aware. Oh my goodness. Mr. Khan, are you there? Or has he left us?
Yeah, he's part
No,
of the
I'm here.
band.
I'm here. Go ahead,
Okay,
Nisa.
so we are talking to Gary Griffith this morning, and then we will speak. So we're speaking crime, we're speaking politics, we're speaking I want to know NTA. We'll get into the announcement where you had custodians, constituency custodians. But you know, before we even, like, these guys just totally took over my opening. I had an opening plan, you know, it's my first show, telling y'all what y'all could expect and all kinds of stuff and the importance of joining the conversation. And these two guys just took over my opening. But that's okay. Now y'all know the kind of bacchanal. That's why they needed a girl. We need some girls to come here and cool things down. Gary, I saw a video this morning, but I do not want to get into that right away. But I'm just putting you on warning that there was a video of you this morning where you spoke about asking Fitzgerald Hines. And so maybe what I should have done was invited him and put the two of y'all to speak together on the show. And you could ask him yourself live and let's see his reaction. Maybe that's what I should have done. Next time, send me these interviews earlier and stuff, right? So we're going to talk about that because I do think it's an important question. And since you put a challenge out to the media, and I'm now the media, we're going to ask Fitzgerald Hines. And, you know, Steve, maybe y'all could follow up and y'all could bring him on as one of your ministers. I don't know that he will agree to come on my show, but I know that he will agree to come on your show.
He definitely would.
And y'all could ask him, you know, that this is what the former commissioner of police have said. But I keep saying it is kind of like a mystery. So we'll talk about that later. Gary, you spoke about constituency custodians. I think that's the name. That's the official name. Sort of like caretakers. I call it a shadow MP. So that, you know, and I appreciate that because I don't like that, you know, only when the election bell is rung, these faces appear and, you know, like, well, where were you all the time? It appears that NTA is going full speed ahead with, you know, their 41 constituents. Constituencies, you have announced that you do intend to run for St. Joseph. I think it's about 6 others. I saw Russell, Gail, Errol. Yeah, about 6 others. You might have been the 6th in the picture. Are you afraid that you're creating a 2007 scenario?
Well, you know, good morning to all persons, whether you're PNM, UNC, ABC, or XYZ after 8 a.m. That is going to be the perception by many because there's always been that concept that if there's a third party outside of the PNM and UNC, they're going to split the votes. We would have seen that happen in 1981 with the ONR with 91,000 votes, not getting a seat, but it allowed PNM to get more seats in 1981. In 1991, the NAR, where Kamala Prasad-Bissessar was part of the NAR, she actually went against the UNC. And the NAR got 127,000 votes in 1991 and they didn't get a seat, but it caused the PNM to win many more seats in contrast to the 33 in 1986. And then 2007, so that was 3 times where you had that major third political force. And that will usually come, and that reached Congress of the People with 147,000 votes. So it continues to increase. And the reason being, Marsha, is that younger persons are no longer caught up in that vortex of, hey, mommy and daddy telling you this is a PNM or UNC house, your PNM or UNC till you die. Younger persons, because of technology, because of educating themselves much more, they're actually telling their parents, listen, there's nothing that you can gain by being a blind loyalist to a political party. And that is why that bridge constituency continues to increase, it continues to expand, both from persons who are disenchanted in the PNM and the UNC. And there's nothing wrong, by the way, for those persons who are PNM or UNC till they die. That is your personal belief. There are people, they're still...
I think there's something wrong, but I'll allow you.
Well, you know, well, again, that's based on us on being independent voters.
Well, that's the whole point. It is wrong. It is wrong to stick to your guns regardless of information. You know, when you know better, you do better. You know, you are for growth to happen in any organization, for growth to happen in yourself, if you are faced with new information, a mature person would reevaluate their stance on things. So this blind support to any political party, and I am still a UNC member. I see on the news today that, you know, we have another UNC member resigning. I am still a UNC member, but I am not a blind supporter. And
Yeah,
I've told persons I grew
yeah,
up
I know. I agree with you, but I'm not going to attack or discredit those people, because you have it in the United States. There are 50 million persons, regardless of what Donald Trump will do. They are going to vote. They are going to be Republican till they die. And there are 50 million people, regardless of what you will see on the Democratic side. So if you want to call them blind loyalists, a PNM till I die, a born at UNC, and I will die at UNC, you have that in Trinidad and Tobago. There are 200,000 on either side, regardless of what the political leader will see or do. They are not going to change it. And that is our culture. It cannot change. It's similar to the United States system. However, those floating voters, that 150,000, dictate the result of the election. If that 150,000 decide, it's three things they do. If there's not a third party, most of them will migrate back to the PNM, and the PNM will usually win in a 2-horse race. The UNC has never won an election in a 3-horse race. Never. In 38 years of existence, they have never won at any time in any election when there's more than two parties. There would be more than two parties. The second option with that third party would be to work with the UNC or the ULF, and you would have seen the results. Annihilation of the PNM, 33-3 in 86, 29-12 in 2010. The third option is to go alone, which we would have seen, as I mentioned, in 81, 91, and 2007, where it will allow the PNM to get more seats. But at the end of the day, we are not here to help the PNM expand their seats by staying separate. We are not here to get the UNC into government. I am here as a servant to represent that 150,000, those independent voices who just want good governance, who just want to have this country get a fighting chance. And the reason I've gone back into politics is to give the country the opportunity for us to have that fighting chance.
Okay, so you are not here to help the UNC get into government.
Correct.
I do think the numbers, I have argued that all the time. I mean, I would have gone up against Keith Rowley in a PNM, what would be considered a PNM stronghold. And my entire campaign was based on educating what you would call the floating voter, the bridge voter, educating them that their numbers, they actually surpass the PNM strong blind supporters. I tried to explain that to every household, to every person that I met, because persons felt as though if they come out, it didn't matter. Their vote did not count, because PNM supporters in Diego Martin West were so much that it just didn't matter. And I had to show them, listen, let me show you the breakdown. 29,000 voters, persons are eligible to vote. Keith Rowley on his best day has only ever gotten 14,000 of them, right? UNC would get 2,500, 3,000. That leaves some 16,000 persons that are available to vote, not PNM. The number of non-voters trump the number of, it's an unfortunate word to use these days, but it trumps the number of voters, PNM voters. And so, I do see in terms of like on paper, where that bridge constituency can, in fact, just totally take it home on their own. If non-voters come out in their numbers, we can see a third party become, in government. If you would run a strong enough.
Again, I'm hearing what you're saying, but the data will always show that the number of voters will never surpass 70%. However, what you just spoke about, let's look at Diego Martin alone. You said he got the 14,000 and you got 3,000. Had there been a Congress of the People, that 14,000 would have gone down to 8,000, and that 3,000 would have gone to 7,000. And there's a reason for that, because out of that 14,000, at least 5,000 of those persons will say, look, I really do not want the PNM. I'm fed up of the PNM, but I just don't like the UNC. And it goes like that. And that is where in 2007, a certain person called Nicolai Griffith and others, Rocky Garcia and Gavin Nicholas, it reached 8,000 to 7,600. It was borderline. And the only reason Keith Rowley, Colin Imbert, and Amy Brown got their seat was because of Patrick Manning's foresight to call an early election. Had he waited until if he waited until 3 months later, the tsunami was coming, and that's why a few months after the 2010 general election, we took control of the local government election. So it shows that there's a number of persons, even that 60% who vote, the majority is not PNM. But if it's between PNM and the UNC, most of them will shift back to the PNM. I could even look at your seat. Had you been on an NTA ticket in that local government election, you would have won your seat. There were people who hundreds told me, Gary, I am not going, and if I see that rising sun, I'm actually not going to vote for the PNM. And I said, but why? So sometimes there's bitterness and hatred, but the vast majority, even of PNM supporters, do not like the PNM. They're not supportive of the PNM, but their hatred for the other side is what will always cause them to go back to the PNM. If there's a third party, they will break away, and then they will.
Do you think that the NTA can win this on their own without a partnership with the UNC?
Only polls could tell. I mean, it is unfortunate that I am there in 9 years we have not seen a poll by any organization media house. There's one media house that is doing it right now, and it is going to come out shortly. Steve Kahn and others know that organization, and they are very independent. They are very, very professional. They did a poll in the local government election. It had PNM 38%, UNC 35%, and NTA got a little 8%. But when it was added, that's where Kamala Prasad-Bissessar and the UNC realized we work with the NTA, we would be able to defeat the PNM, and that's what happened in the local government. We got 60,000 more votes than the PNM, which meant for every 5 votes, 3 voted for the UNC or the NTA. NTA didn't just get 17,000 votes. The other 110 seats that the UNC took part in, many ex-Congress of the People supporters voted for the UNC candidate, and vice versa.
Okay, I'm going to stop you there because I walk the ground for local government. I mean, we walk together. And what happened, regardless, and I mean, your face, because we understood strategically NTA, we needed to push NTA, more than UNC. But at the end of the day, persons felt as though you had sold out to UNC, you had become UNC, and, the alliance in the end didn't actually really work because persons felt, I can tell you, and I will be very open and honest, I know people think that I've sold out to the Balizé. I have not, I promise. I just am an independent person. I speak,
Marsha, that's not true. Had people believed that,
like you.
If people believe that, you'd have been on the 6 a.m. to 8 a.m. Power breakfast show. So you're not,
I'm not going there. But let me finish my point. I don't think coalition governments work. And, what if this was a general election, we'd won, and you and Kamala fall out inside a government?
Perfect. Question.
And that is a concern that I have. I do believe that we need to sort out one party. So I would say, Gary, come home to the UNC, fight, maybe become the political leader of the UNC. Well, I like Rushton, but I'm not sure, having watched, we can talk about, okay, the UNC's never won alone, but what we can also say is coalition governments, I'm not sure they've served the country. I know PNM has not served the country, but I'm not sure that coalition governments, they do enough to remove PNM, but I'm not sure that they are the answer.
I can explain that, and you're right. What we have seen in history in the past, whether it is ONR or COP joins with the ULF or the UNC, it will automatically spell victory for that group against the PNM. So even the local government election, it was a massive success because, as I said, it was 190,000 votes for the UNC and the NT versus 130,000 for the PNM. That was bad licks. Let's not get tied up with the corporations. Had we put those votes in the 41 constituencies, the alliance would have won St. Joseph, Tunapuna, Lupino Bonnier, San Fernando West, Grandi, La Joquita, Talparo. It was annihilation. So even though, because how they set up the corporations, you're seeing 7-7. But again, because you have a seat in Port of Spain where PNM won 300 to 230, and that is a seat. You have other seats that will be thousands. So that local government election was a success. As you speak about coalitions,
Gary, answer my question.
I'm explaining that now. So because you said it wasn't successful, but the data of the local government superimposed in a general election, we would have won. And as it pertains to coalitions, there have been 70 odd countries in the world that had coalition governments. Some have worked, some have not worked. Likewise in Trinidad and Tobago, governments who stand alone as the PNM, they have not worked. But the importance is that what happened in 86 and 2010, it was a marriage of convenience, whereby these political parties just joined together to get more votes to beat the PNM. And then what? And that was the problem in 2010. Winston Buchanan just signed something called a Faizabad Accord. Let's just join with the UNC to beat the PNM. And then there was no plan, no structure, nothing to ensure the marriage remained. My concept is if there's any type of a strategic alliance, it must be a contractual obligation. It must be one where the political parties will have mutual respect for each other. Look at what has happened in the local government election. I spend more time.
Where are we with that? Where are we with that, Gary? Because it seems as though right now NT is going alone. I don't know what's going on with Hope, PP. You know, we have a gazillion third parties. Thus far, NT would have, to me, is the most impressive in terms of showing that proper organization, that structure, you know, announcing the custodians would be a step in the right direction. And that's why I ask, is NTA prepared to go it alone? Because I'm not sure that the talks are going. You know, I heard Jerlene John say, you know, Kamala is a unifier. That's her job. She's going to unite. But then you hear the budget consultations. I mean, Rushton Parry, you know, they'll say he's on vacation and that's why. But let's be real. I don't think Anita was invited to her budget consultation either. You know, the Ragoobarsingh, you know, and so it's clear, right? I mean, you see Anita's supposed to be the shadow for education, but then you'd see Khadijah talking on education matters. So, I mean, one need only look and you'd see that it's just the unity is not happening. And I'm also not seeing any talks in terms of a genuine, as you say, not a marriage of convenience, but, you know, real, genuine coalition talks. I'm not seeing it. And I would like to think that I'm a little bit, you know, on the inside.
Yeah, but you're correct. The country will see it, and that is the difference with, and this is not for me to knock Winston Buchanan or Prakash Ramadan. They have their personality, and I think the UNC took advantage of that personality. That is why just prior to the 2010 general election, the COP just basically caved in. They no longer became a political party. They became consumed under the umbrella of the UNC, and that was the end of that. I promise, and that is where those floating voters, they are a very sensitive lot. They are not going to sit back and just accept blindly that, okay, we're just going to join the UNC. They want the assurance that there's not going to be a repeat of 1986 and 2010. That I give the assurance to the country. So by me setting up the St. Joseph office, the headquarters of the NT in St. Joseph, me being a candidate, announcing candidates, caretakers, custodians, future candidates, for Diego Martin Central, Port of Spain East, Port of Spain South, Chabonas East, Samoa Barataria, Lupino Bonia, and Point Fortin. And in 2 weeks, we are going to open the San Fernando West office, announcing candidates for San Fernando West, San Grande, Moruga, La Joquita, Talparo, Tunapuna. So the point of the matter is we are moving ahead. If it is that, unfortunately, I wrote to the political leader of the UNC, 3 months they have not replied. And it's one thing that my parents taught me as an only child is something called manners, basic manners. If it is you don't have the common courtesy and the manners to even acknowledge correspondence to me, it shows that you have not learned from 2010. We are moving forward. And the thing about it is that with the NTA and those floating voters, we have nothing to lose. I am not going to sell out those floating voters as what happened in 2010. Whilst at the same time, I want us to get into government. The UNC, they do not, and I'm being very blunt, they do not have a snowball chance in hell to win this election on their own. 2015, you tried it. 2020, you tried it. And it's getting worse. So the perception, and again, Kamala's personal only comment about me in the last few months is to attack me because she loves Jerlene John. Jerlene John has made it emphatically clear to everyone that she wants to go alone, the UNC wants to go alone. Everyone else in the UNC, they do not want that because they do not want to be in opposition for 15 years. So it is to be seen if Jerlene John has the power so much that it can override everybody else in the national executive of the UNC, if she can override the views and the rank and file of the UNC. I've always been the prodigal son of the UNC. So the UNC, I actually won my seat in a UNC internal election in 2006 as a rookie, defeating Bazio Pandey, Kamala Prasad Visesa, Wade Mark and company. I was the only myself, Sadiq and Manoa. So I have a very strong base in the UNC. I think that has become a problem and a concern. But I'm not here to form a coup d'etat. I'm here to unite Trinidad and Tobago, regardless of your political affiliation. I have no enemies. I have no persons that I see that because you are PNM, I despise you. What I want is a government that's going to be so united, regardless of your political affiliation. I want the best minds available to be able to make this a great country.
Well, we've got your new TikTok video there. It's
yes
8:25, so we have just about 10 more minutes. We're gonna push the 10 and probably go straight into Atto. I have no time for myself, for any monologue that I thought I might have had. Let's talk your video. You did a video this morning. I don't know. I got it this morning, whether it was when it was. And you spoke about, let me see if I can find it. Hold on. But it had to do with the abduction of, remind me his name.
Brent Thomas.
Brent Thomas. And you said we need to ask Fitzgerald Hines outright that if he was the one that gave the approval, hold on, right. Did Fitzgerald Hines give approval to the police to commit an unlawful act? And I liked how you broke it down because, if we're talking sports next, you would have been a national athlete, annoying. I played hockey with Gary, y'all know that? When people say, why do you call him Gary? Not Captain Gary Griffith. You pitch marbles. I said, well, I didn't pitch marbles, but I play hockey. And you spoke, if the Defense Force hockey players had to go away, the Minister of National Security has to give approval for them to leave this country. Break down for Trinidad and Tobago that video for me, and you can expand.
Yeah, and I'll be within just a few minutes. So I was the Minister of National Security. I was also a Commissioner of Police. I think I'm the only person in Commonwealth that actually held both portfolios like this. So I'm fully aware of the powers that they have and the powers that they don't have, quoting a previous president. And I can confirm that there's no way that police officers can leave our territorial waters to be involved in any operation without the requisite approval from the Minister of National Security. As the Commissioner of Police, I knew that anytime police officers had to go abroad for anything, whether it's training, even on vacation, imagine as a Defense Force officer, if I have to go on vacation, you need approval, you need requisite. You can't leave the country unless it is that you have that requisite approval. And especially if it's so, imagine an operation of the nature and magnitude of trying to abduct a citizen of this country. So the Minister of National Security is the only person who can give such approval. And what I find alarming is that the media will not ask these questions. And that's what I mentioned in my press conference. It is so sad when we see things such as Section 34. The media will never ask you, Trolley, but you voted for Section 34 and you always speak about it. They speak about Emailgate. They will never tell Trolley, but you claim Gary Griffith was planning to kill a media reporter, but then you appointed him as Commissioner of Police while his matter was still being investigated. Those are when you look at CNN, how they deal with Donald Trump, when you look at Fox, how they deal with Kamala, you will understand that media, they go hard onto these individuals. We don't. We pull back, and that's why I'm asking the media, the business organizations, the chambers, the NGOs, the religious organizations. We are becoming no different to Venezuela. They are using their type of leadership through the firearm. We are using it through the pen. We have seen persons being removed by independent institutions, be it Commissioner of Police, DPP's office, the head of the SSA, Integrity Commission, the Industrial Court, the Central Bank. So in this situation, the media, I'm asking the media humbly, please state, did Fitzgerald Hines give approval for the police to leave the country to have somebody abducted? And if that is the case, that is something that can be investigated for misbehavior in public office. And they are refusing to ask that question because Suzette Martin was then promoted to that of Deputy Commissioner of Police. So I'm asking the simple question, and no one wants to answer, because if Fitzgerald Hines says no, it means that Suzette Martin operated in an unlawful manner, and yet she was promoted to Deputy Commissioner of Police. So with that, Marsha, I don't want to squeeze. I see my boy Atto is on, and
I want to ask you though, because I don't think that, I know the media has an important role in any democracy, but there must be something that could be done in the courts, whether it be through a freedom of information application, whatever the case may be. There must be a way, if it is that you are suggesting that it is possible that our Minister of National Security, our MP, he's a sitting MP, it is possible that he would have misbehaved in public office. I mean, certainly that's not something that the media is carrying on their shoulders alone. And there must be something that you can
remember the law
through the courts somewhere.
But Marshall, remember when the president did not adhere to the law and not send a merit list, the law association said nothing. Many of our independent institutions, they are mortified. And all I'm asking the public, understand what has happened here. The minister gave approval to the police to commit an unlawful act. Ask him the question. As it pertains to Atto again, for people who are not aware, Atto Golden in United Nations, he actually made the comment. I don't know if he has a crystal ball. He actually stated that he expected Alfred and Lafon to actually get.
Why are you? Wait, I am not off of sports. I'm not onto sport yet. Hold on.
I love sport.
I know you love your sports. I know you love your sports, and I know. And now I'm wondering if you're going to even leave and allow me time
because there's an important.
That's okay. We will get there. We'll get there. Hold on. I have one more question on politics before we move into sports, because I know you're a sportsman. We would have seen two different headlines. I do not get into who the security expert is, but we would have seen an activist speak about, expecting more migrants. Then we would have seen one security expert warns that Trinidad and Tobago must get ready for the election fallout. And I mean, I have no idea, but we're just keeping everything with Venezuela headlines, right? Then we saw Kamal Maharaj, saying that he was kidnapped, taken to Venezuela, and after paying a ransom, dropped off at sea and said to swim and whatnot. Give me your thoughts on the elections, the unrest coming out of the elections. And, there's a saying, when your neighbor house on fire, get your hose ready.
Yeah, well, again, I actually came off the starting blocks first on this. That was Saturday press conference. And then after, the activists and everybody started following. Because this is what is required. And there's a reason why I came off the starting blocks early without jumping the gun. It is because in these situations, you'd have to be a proactive National Security Council. And you must understand, as soon as that happened, immediately you have to think, again, from my training at the Royal Military Academy, Sanders, they taught us something called then what. So if this happens, then what? Then it is that there's going to be a mass exodus. People fear political persecution, fear the economic negativity that you're going to encounter. What was done by National Security Council? We're supposed to be putting drones. We're supposed to be up in our intelligence system. We're supposed to be liaising with our ambassador in Venezuela. We have 7 Coast Guard vessels that I acquired for 1.2 billion that could have done the same thing that the OPVs could have done for 2.4 billion. They're all moored at Stogels Bay. They should all be at between the peninsula, between Venezuela and Trinidad. We're supposed to have ramp up our security initiatives in the police stations at the Southwestern Peninsula, having military personnel stationed. Nothing is done, because if this happens, the domino effect, Marsha, is that it's going to cause economic instability in Trinidad and Tobago. We have 120,000 illegal immigrants in Trinidad and Tobago as we speak. And the reason I could say that as the minister, persons came in through the legitimate ports of entry and never left. So what's going to happen is going to have more Venezuelans coming in. It can cause an increase in prostitution, sexual exploitation of minors, increase in unemployment, abuse by, it will cause human trafficking. It will cause these same Venezuelans now to be under atrocious working conditions because they are not registered or regularized. It is an incident, and it will affect our health, our economy, our schooling, and so with all of that, nothing is being done. And I am very concerned. So as I hand over to sport, I will ask Atto. Is that important?
No, could you let me ask my questions? Did you know that
I'm asking to ask Atto.
But you don't know what my questions were. Suppose you go and ask the question that I have.
I'm sure you're not going to ask this one.
And then you take credit for my question. And then you take credit for my question.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Oh my goodness, Gary.
Atto, you just tell the country that
He's hockey boys,
10.06 didn't mean that Hazy Crawford was slow because of technology, the type of shoes, the type of track. Because people are attacking Hazy Crawford and saying Hazy Crawford couldn't have qualified. Hazy Crawford was wearing a baggy pants. He borrowed someone's striped socks. So the type of shoes, the type of technology, the type of stadium to avoid the wind, all of these things. You have technology now that can see if your left calf muscle is 1,000th of an ounce smaller than your right, to build that calf muscle to get faster takeoff. So I guess, Atto, on to you, sir.
No, go ahead. Finish what it is that you... Well,
and I would like Atto to just crystal ball, see that he predicted...
No. I have the crystal ball question. I allowed you the Hazley Crawford because I didn't see that one. Because we have hate on social media that's just too much for me to follow.
They don't understand. And Ato, I think, will be able to explain the difference that is taking place. But I want Ato to use the crystal ball to predict what's going to happen in the election next year. Seeing that you knew who actually won.
Do not involve Ato in politics.
Ato was a senator, by the way. Ato was a UNC senator.
I know, I'm here. We're talking Olympics. But I'm wondering, I think it looks like he's having issues with his internet.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's see if we can be quiet. Let's see if we can be quiet and give him an opportunity to say if he's here, if he's hearing us or not. Good morning, Ato. We're not seeing you anymore. Are you hearing us?
Now I hear you. My signal is not the best.
Oh, okay. So, Gary, that means you're going to have to be very quiet and allow him to speak. Can you do that? Can you do that?
You have a show with Gary Griffith and Ato Bolan on it, and you expect the internet to be able to handle that kind of bandwidth. Okay? Let's see.
Well, we'll see. Okay, so I did not plan, but Gary has asked you about and you know what? That's probably going to take us into some kind of conversation, just like what I did with Gary. I'm going to ask the easy things first. Let's get that out of the way so that the more controversial topics we have some time with.
Sure.
You are an award-winning analyst. I'm not going to go into everything else. We don't have the time. If you don't know who Ato Bolan is, come off air one time. It's okay. And go find Google. But or drive and find the stadium and figure out. Is Julian going to take the second gold? Is she going to do a double? Oh my goodness, he's sticking.
He's frozen again.
He's frozen again. Oh man. The internet.
Well, I can answer it while we're waiting on him. I think that Brown is actually going to win. Not that I want her to win, but I think the hype and so forth. And I've looked at that American athlete. She's like a gazelle. That stride that she's going to have, I am concerned that she may very well. Fun.
Who is this?
Brown, the US athlete.
Not Thomas.
Brown Thomas. It is Thomas. She actually won the second. Thomas. Yeah, she won the second heat. So
Gabby. Yeah.
Sometimes because of that hype, I really do not know if it is that I'm hoping that Alfred can actually continue, but yeah. I don't know.
I do like Gabby. I mean, other than if I was not Caribbean, I would favor Gabby, to be honest. I like her as an athlete. We are losing. This is so lame.
It's my fault. This is
all Paris.
This is what hotel Wi-Fi can look like sometimes. I turn everything else in the room off. I think we have a chance now.
Well, I'm hearing you. Okay, so I don't know if you heard. Gary gave his prediction, but he is not an award-winning analyst.
Yeah, I was speaking about Brown.
And he needs to bat in his lane. Do you think Alfred could bring the double home?
He was not about to say no. He thinks that Brown is actually going to win from the United States.
Is her name Brown?
Yeah, Brown.
No, Thomas. You're talking about Gabby Thomas.
No, I'm talking about Brown.
Yes.
Brown.
Oh no, you're Brown.
So
okay.
Gabby Thomas, Brittany Brown, and Julian Alfred are the three I think who are going to be on the podium. Not so sure about the third, but Brittany Brown she's a gamer. Can Julian Alfred win? Of course she can. She has one of the fastest times in the world. I think she's second or third in the world. But she's coming off of the 100. She's a little fatigued. I would, if I had money to bet, I would bet it on Gabby Thomas, not on Julian. But look, if Julian leaves here with gold and silver,
I said Gabby, by the way, Gary.
Yeah, no. Gabby is the favorite.
I was wrong with Gabby Thomas.
She's a clear favorite. She can make the most mistakes and still win. If Julian makes a mistake, Gabby will beat her. If Gabby makes a mistake, she's still capable of recovering and winning.
Okay. All right. Easy questions before we get into controversy. Why the torso? I'm gonna sound like a girl. I'm that's fine. I like sounding like a girl. Why the torso? Now I can tell you, we can laugh a little bit because social media, I asked the question on social media and it is amazing how persons respond with confidence. And I'm saying, really? someone said, but Gail Divas win by her fingernail. You may have heard something where somebody says by a fingernail like a kind of a joke. That
Yes.
I'm certain is not the truth. You know, others talk about how, I mean, if I read it, we're going to have a laugh, you know, but, you know, persons talk about bending your torso gives you strength. So then I say, but then why are we looking for the person who straightens up first? You know, do you all of a sudden go from straightening up to get the strength to bowing to get the strength in the end? Like, this doesn't make sense. And then persons saying, Marsha's common sense, you know, if they'd go with the foot, then shorter athletes would be at a disadvantage. And you are being mean. Like, you're talking about common sense. And I'm asking a stupid question.
Oh,
and I'm like,
boy.
wait, so we have rules for short people to be so that they're not disadvantaged? Well, I mean, what about basketball? You know, like, and it's just so confident. So I had to say to somebody, I said, well, you know, I appreciate that you took the time to comment, but I do have Atto Bolden tomorrow. So I'm going to just let him answer. I'm going to give you what I think so far has been the best answer.
Okay.
Historically, I'm guessing you didn't have technology. So you use the tape, right? And you need to dip into the tape. So you have the tape, the first person that bursts the tape, it makes sense. Why wouldn't you put it at the foot? Well, because then you'll trip people. So it makes sense that you have to use it above versus below. And that's where that torso rule would have come from. If that's correct, I'm going to plug in one time. Now that we have technology, though, can we not possibly change from this torso rule to, because it feels kind of like American football. You throw with your hands.
Oh, boy.
How you call it, a football. Like, why haven't we moved from the torso to like the foot?
Okay, let me start with the easy part, and that is, yes, it is because in earlier days, in the chariot, what I call the chariots of fire days, and sometimes to the detriment, because in a race like Sunday night, if Kishane Thompson has the tape on his chest, they'd have literally pointed at him and go, "You're the Olympic champion." Now we have the technology to magnify and see if there's any space between them. Occasionally, the computer looks and it says, we can't make a determination. We saw that at the Olympic trials in 2012 with Alison Felix and Jennifer Tamo, and they were supposed to have a runoff. Jennifer declined. Alison went in the 200 in the 100, and then we also saw that in the case of 2008. If you want to show off your track and field knowledge, ask somebody who got bronze in 2008 in the 100 meters for women at the Olympics. Nobody did, because they went gold, and then Jamaica got the 2 silvers because they could not separate them. So that's the first part of it. Because I live in the track and field bubble, in the track and field world, I really was not aware of how many people were ignorant of how it is you win a race, because the amount of nonsense that I have seen on the internet is like, no, you can win by a nose, that would be horse racing. No, you can win by, if your foot crosses the line first, that would be speed skating, which is why speed skaters always stick their leg out like this to get their foot forward. Track and field is not going to change that rule.
And don't forget my fingernail one now.
Your fingernail one. Sorry, I don't know what sport that is, but that's not that. I can't touch that one. The bottom line is that we're not going to change this. Track and field is one of the cornerstone disciplines of the Olympics. That's not changing anytime soon. And I know that because it's the closest Olympic final in 44 years. So because the whole world is talking about, the Jamaicans feel like they got robbed, it's actually more PTSD for the Jamaicans, and I understand that, because they have almost never gotten the benefit of a photo finish call, and they feel like it's always against them. Juliet Cuthbert lost a photo finish in 92. They've had other cases where I think Gwen Torrance outleaned Merlene Artie. They always seem to come out second in those situations. I can say, as a neutral observer, I don't hold brief for Jamaica nor United States. I saw the photo, and in fact, if you go on my Instagram, I broke down the race from 0 to 100, and then we magnified at the end, and you can see Noah is at the line, and it's a 2-inch space in between Kishane and the finish line. So I know the Jamaicans are upset. They haven't won any medals in the 100 for men since both stepped off the track in 2017. But that rule is not changing, Marsha.
Okay, I'm still going to ask one more question because I'm an activist by heart. Like, that's just who I am, right? So I'm even going to be an activist in sports.
But hold on a second.
Is the real...
What would be the point? What would be the point of changing the rules?
Well, you worse than Gary.
Go ahead.
Did you see the beginning of my show?
No,
Gary
I
just
did not.
took over my show. I did not even have the first word in. Do you know that? I did not even have the first word in.
Sorry.
So in Rio, women's 400 meter, and I mean, I'm like just pretending that you're like my
Shawnee
Google,
Miller
right?
Weebo. Go ahead.
Right.
Alison Felix, Shawnee Miller Weebo, yes.
You see, you are my track Google. So she dives, and she dives. I feel as though there is a safety aspect to it. Now, I think I'm a better athlete than Gary, I'll be honest. He has more results, but I think that I'm a better athlete than Gary. Gary, just don't respond. Just stay quiet. Go back off. Right. Now, funny, right? I'm a goalkeeper. He's a striker. So.
Oh, so y'all are natural enemies.
Yes. Yeah. So, but I did some track a little bit. I actually beat Fana Ashby. That used to be my claim to fame in primary school.
Wow,
so when she was
an
in
exceptional
the Olympics,
talent.
Listen, when she was in the Olympics, I used to say, if only my mother took her. I would say I want to go to the Olympics. And unfortunately, I didn't come from a home where we saw past traditional jobs.
Right.
So I could.
Most of us did.
Every Olympics, I would go. I beat Fana Ashby in primary school. I beat Fana Ashby in primary school.
So now you sound like everybody who ever beat me at any point in my life. They're like, well, look where you reached. I used to beat you. Why should I keep going?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, and my daughter did track for a little bit as well, now but she would have trained, right? Because I am the opposite. Since like 2 years old, she's been training for the Olympics. So to me, you have this, okay, when we're looking to see if we've run well, because we think we're sports analysts too, you see, look at how she's straightening up. So when we thought, we looked at Alfred and stuff, we said, look, she's strong. She's not fighting up. She didn't have to dip or anything in the semis and whatnot, Same reason that we looked at Gabby and we say, we really love Alfred, but Gabby is so comfortable running her heat and stuff. So to me, it's just not logical that you would want an athlete who is, he's had this, and this is in 10 seconds. You have to straighten up and then, in your last 20 meters, in the last point, whatever second, dip while you are going however many miles an hour. I feel as though that's just not safe.
Okay, so it's a very good question, actually. Let me start. I apologize to those who are only listening and can't see me on the live stream because I have to show you angles. You don't run from straight up and down. You're not supposed to. You're supposed to run with a little bit of forward lean anyway. So it's not a question of, you're coming from straight up and down and then you have to find this momentum to push yourself forward. No. And Noah Lyles does a good job of that. He already has a lot of relative angle when he runs. So it's just a matter of furthering it, I guess is what I'm saying. So it's not, sprinters straighten up and then they have to get to the line and then dip for the line. You are almost supposed to be halfway into a dip by the time you get to the line because you're supposed to maintain your forward momentum and maintain your forward lean. So that's why it makes sense to sprint it. In other words, it doesn't feel like an abnormal movement to a sprinter. And remember too, they practice it. It's preached to us for as long as, from the time we start to the day you end your career. So this is not it to civilians. I think it looks abnormal. It looks weird. But sprinters accept it as this is how things are.
Okay, fine. So that's the easy questions. Let me find, okay. This is the most controversial Olympics, I think. But I'm not sure that it actually right. So I'm not sure that it actually is. I think what we're seeing, similar to what Gary was speaking about with Hazley Crawford earlier. I'm not sure if you heard his little ramble.
I got a piece of it, yeah.
Yeah, well, it's okay. It's Gary, not important. So we move on. Gary and I have a love-hate relationship.
Striker and goalkeeper again.
Yes. Okay. I think what we're seeing is the power of, like 240 characters or whatever it is for a tweet. Things go viral, misinformation. There's somebody put out, oh my, Simone Biles is pregnant, and all of a sudden I'm seeing it carried as proper news, and I wouldn't necessarily, we have lots of different bits of information that, depending on who it is, if it's the right or wrong person tweeting, we have controversy where honestly it should just have been, uneventful.
Yes.
So do you believe, like, from an expert point of view, that this is really the most controversial, or are we just seeing the fallout of social media and misinformation?
Every Olympics is going to have good, great stories, and they're going to have bad and terrible stories. I have been to Olympics where an athlete's fiance gets hit by a car and dies, like in Sydney in 2000. I think some of the controversial things here are the things that were kind of self-inflicted. Athletes have E. coli now because they have to swim in the Seine River. And the Seine River has been very controversial. It is, from all accounts, not too far below, sewage water. And you have a bunch of athletes with E. coli now. You're going to hear some stuff with that. You have the case of the boxer who, that to me was the biggest controversy. Oh, she's a transgender and this and that and the other. Come to find out, that was not the case. And when you really look, this is a Muslim theocracy who would not have sent a transgendered woman. So a lot of people started. The problem with everybody having a phone is that everybody has an opinion. And I can tell you, during the Olympics, I hear the most nonsense, read the most nonsense, and that's just kind of par for the course, because like you said, everybody's an expert, and here we are at the mecca of sport, and people are like, yes, I know that about track, and it's the foot, and it's the shoelace, and it's the fingernail, and I know the list about cycling and basketball. So I don't think this is a particularly controversial Olympics. To me, the theme of these Olympics in terms of the track and the field is who is not here. I think Mo fell at trials. Sharika Jackson is injured and she's a world champion twice over. Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce never got to have her kind of final run. The Olympic champion in the 100 and the 200, Elaine Thompson-Herah, is at home. So to me, it's a lot more significant for who is not here in some of the events. But I don't find the Olympics has been more controversial than usual.
All right, good. I like you so far, Gary. Take note. Follow him. So you spoke actually about Fraser-Pryce and not getting to run her final race. And we put final in quotations because I think we all understand what we mean when we say final race. We saw that the chef de mission would have spoken a little bit about the whatever went on with the gate. We would have seen some videos. Can you give us, the truth, if you have it?
Well, here, I don't know that this is the truth. This is my information. I am probably more informed than most, but I am not saying this as though it is the gospel. From my understanding, on the day of the heats, there was one rule where athletes who are not coming from the village, and most of the top athletes, I shouldn't say most, a lot of the top athletes, that's the same thing, do not stay in the village. So on one day, it was like, yes, if you're not in the team bus, you can come in, and then the rule changed overnight. Apparently, information was not disseminated properly to Sha'Carri Richardson of the United States and Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce of Jamaica. So they come the next day and they're like, yes, we're ready to go in. And they're like, we told you all from yesterday, if you are not on the bus, you are not going to be allowed into this gate. So it was frustration there because they were like, wait, we did this yesterday. Why we can't do it today? So as far as I know, it was a miscommunication. I don't know whose fault it was if the information didn't reach because the chef de mission and the team had been told and they didn't get into Shelly-Ann, or if they didn't get the information to Jamaica and the USA properly. All I know is Shelly-Ann and Sha'Carri showed up at the gate and they were like, no, if you're not on the bus, you're not getting it. And to me, that could not have, I don't know if look, it's not a given that Shelly-Ann would have made the final. I certainly would have bet that she would have. And it certainly didn't mean that Shelly-Ann was going to medal, but it could not have helped her to be outside standing up when she could have been warming up. And then when she did warm up, she had discomfort in reportedly her hamstring and she withdrew. And Sha'Carri, I don't think ever looked comfortable during the rounds, and that certainly could not have helped her too, because Julian Alfred was looking so good, and Sha'Carri just never seemed like she never seemed like she embraced the moment, certainly like when she won the World Championships last year.
Alrighty. Now, okay, actually, because I want to just have you clarify for me, because you spoke about Alfred, and I mean, because that would have happened at the semis.
Mm-hmm.
Are you saying that, you know, that discomfort could have gone into the finals as well? I mean, because the gate issue would have happened at the semis. You know, Richardson would have had an opportunity to run at that time, get whatever she has to get out, and then come back to the final where you can have your proper warm-up, you can be in a proper space. You're saying as an athlete, you know, because we want to be fair to Richardson, I am not sure that I'm a fan of US. So I would be honest, I'm not like you, but I'm not a fan of US athletes. I love Gabby Thomas, but generally not a fan of US athletes.
I don't get to have that kind of the joke is that I am accused of bias when in fact the fans are the ones that are biased, because they get to say, well, I don't like so and so, I don't like so and so. I like Sha'Carri, but I don't like Noah. That would not have affected Sha'Carri's final. It could have affected her semi-final, and she made it through to the final. So to me, it's a wash.
It's gone.
Yeah, it's a moot point.
The only reason I asked you to clarify it is because that you are seeing on social media by some influencers. So you're looking at, you know, hundreds and thousands of comment, of likes and shares and reach, where it appears that the Americans are trying to say that, you know, the only reason Alfred won gold is because of, and I'm really against that, because you shouldn't.
Absolutely not.
That's
Absolutely
the
not.
reason.
And to be fair, I have not seen anybody from Team USA say that. And let me tell you, as a person
it's not coming from anything official.
Oh, okay.
This is just social media. So there's some influencers, you know, and they're driving this narrative. I came across it on social media, and I'm saying, oh my, and I'm looking at like some thousand comments, and I'm scrolling through it, and I'm going, wow, look at how social media has just taken this victory from Alfred.
Well, the fans are going to be the ones with the inherent biases, right? That's because, I mean, when I wake up the morning after the women's 100, if Sha'Carri has won, great. If Julian has won, great. If Shirley-Ann has won, great. They have a vested interest because they want their country to win. We didn't have anybody in the 100-meter final. So let me just say this. Nobody was beating Julian Alfred at this meet in the 100-meter dash the way she looked. There are certain, look, when the men come out for the 100, I go, in my mind, Kishane has looked the best. And I said it in the broadcast. I said, in my mind, Kishane has looked the best during the rounds. But the one question I have is his inexperience. He's never been in a major, and he's the favorite in a major. And if you've never been the favorite in a big race, you don't know what that pressure feels like. Kishane ran well in the first round, the second round, and he tightened up in the final. That's why he's not the Olympic gold medalist. So that was pretty much the plan. But I didn't have a sense of, oh, I would bet my house that so-and-so is going to win. I knew Noah would be there. I knew Kishane would be there. I wasn't as high on Fred. I thought maybe somebody like Simbine, who had won his semifinal and looked good. When the women came out for that 100, I was like, this is, I said it. I said, I know the world champion is here, but this is Julian Alfred's race to lose. Yeah. And that race was not close. The fact that you had 2/10 and change of a second in between first and second, I don't want to hear anything about that gate, and whatever happened there had nothing to do with that final. Give Julian Alfred her props. Nobody was beating her at this meet that night in that Olympic stadium. Let's just clarify that.
Right. So we have about a minute. So, and I'm going to talk some controversy. Michelle Ahi puts out a video. I can give you my take on it, but I don't know if you saw it, but you know, she saw it, right? So she said, you know, thanks to half of the Trinis that support, the other half, well, y'all will support anyway. Right. And you have been speaking about the decline in athletics for a while, you know, long before. And this is where I would give Gary props, right? But you guys say the hard things before it becomes a bandwagon thing to see.
Yes.
And, you know, and I think that Michelle was saying the truth, not her truth, the truth, you know, apart from the people that aren't in the stands. So from top to bottom, from minister to supporter, I don't think we get, I mean, Jamaica, the stands are full for primary school meets. You know, I have a daughter that's supposed to leave to go to New York on Friday, and the funds have not been released yet.
Oh, wow.
You know, oh, wow. Yeah. So
no, that's me pretending to be surprised. I'm sorry. I don't know if that came across. That is
it
me
did not.
pretending to be surprised. Okay,
right.
sorry.
You see, and that and I mean, you have spoken about that. You know, the funds, and again, to see persons on social media react the way that they react, as if she's ungrateful and she's this and she's that. I don't know if you know, but I wrote a book, a children's book, and Keyshawn Walcott would have been on it, and I sort of broke down the true story of some of our athletes in a child-friendly way. And in interviewing Keyshawn, I mean, the nightmare, you know, selling crab to get money to get into the stadium, and then the coach has to give him money to get back home and stuff like that. And you know, we only get on like this when I'm seeing Paul calling me. Hold on, maybe he's giving me some time. Hello? Yeah, so
I have time, by the way. I have about another hour before I have to go.
Hello?
Not that you have an hour.
All right. They're telling me I have to wrap. So answer in 30 seconds.
Oh boy. Michelle Lee Ayi is allowed to voice her frustration. She's at the Olympics. She had just walked off of the field of play where things did not go well for her. I think that Michelle Lee Ayi is a grown woman, and if she wants to express her frustration at what she finds has been lack of support and lack of, I don't know, whatever, administrative success, whatever, that is her prerogative. It is also the prerogative of the public to go, I don't like what she said, she's a representative of my country. Or to say, as you did, Marsha, Michelle Lee is exactly right. And if that is how she feels, she should very well say it because it's her truth. I don't feel like I have to arbitrate. People are going to receive it well. Other people are going to say, you know, it's Trinidad and Tobago. People are going to say, well, you know, how she go say that? Why she ain't run fast? That is us. That is who we are. I didn't see what she said as being that controversial, but I could understand how people did not receive it well.
Do you believe we support our athletes?
No.
That's
we do
a
not.
wrap.
But, and it's a long but. It's not a simple answer.
Okay. You know what? I'm gonna ask you to come on after the Olympics, and maybe we won't have Gary, and we'll just have you for the whole hour because you know the people want to hear from you some more. And
I have a much better internet signal.
I'm being told you have to wrap up. Guys,
the Jamaican 100 meter final by Atu.
We have to wrap. We have to wrap up.
Gary.
We have to wrap up. And we have Keyshawn running on Thursday. Congratulations. Throwing on Thursday.
Because if Keyshawn is running, we're in bad shape.
And Jareen and Richardson running this afternoon. We didn't get to talk about us not having a men's relay team. Oh, Lossie. Guys, yeah, so we'll talk about that another time. See y'all. Thank you very much. I don't even know how to wrap up, but